she declined. No, didn't she mind? I don't think so.
It's 6:20 AM on Friday morning before the race, and I'm on my way to collect the van because we have some very complicated logistics for getting to and from the track for this race. I'm also on my way to Dartford Karting to collect some parts for Danny, who's joining us this weekend. Danny's a driver we met during the ADX test in the Rotax, and he's decided to join us for his first GX UK round. But he doesn't have a kart yet, and the weekend is now. So this afternoon at Philpot, I'm going to help build his car to get it to a stage where he can actually race it and hopefully practice tomorrow. So let's go. So I've now got the van and heading back to my house to collect all of our equipment. It's going to be interesting trying to load all that on my own. Then to the track, then we're going to set up and then try and build Danny's kart. Here we go. Okay, so van is loaded. We are now on the way to the track. Did you see how strong I was lifting those go-karts into the van on my own? Because Alex couldn't be bothered to come and help. Now I'll go and set our pit area up on my own after driving the van to the track on my own. Totally abandoned by my best friend so far this weekend. I'm such a hero. So with our awning built and all of the equipment unloaded, I eagerly awaited the 4 PM arrival of Danny. However, a hold up at work meant he couldn't get to the circuit until later in the evening. You've been hearing all day on my video about this go-kart we're going to be building at 4 o'clock today, which is going to give us no time to do it. Well, it's now 7:43 and we're still going to try, so let's do it. So with the very kind help of Matthew Roberts, George Massey and Russell Endine, we set about inboarding Danny's rear axle, drilling out the bolt on his seized left rear hub, fitting engine mounts and engine itself, lubricating all the bearings and finishing as much of the kart as possible before the darkness set in. And although we did ultimately run out of time in the evening to get the kart completed, we got it to a state where it would be possible at least to get Danny on track the next day. Well, it's practice day morning. I'm out just having a cup of tea, having a wander around our little campsite area. We're not camping, we're in a house over here. This place is called Woodland Waters, it's very nice. So we didn't finish building Danny's kart last night. It just got too dark. The plan was to get the lion's share of it done in the daylight and then just maybe have a very little bit left over today. As it stands, there's actually a lot left over today. And I've obviously also got to do my own kart, get that ready, so see you at the track. Okay, so I left my fancy camera back at the hotel today, so I'm going with the phone. We are now prepped for the first practice session. I've done quite a lot of work on Danny's car. It's not ready for the session yet, so he's got a bit to do, but he's got a seat in. We've done the inboarding on the axle. The engine now has mounts. I've filled it with oil. I've fitted a new clutch. So his car will be ready at some point today, so Danny should get out, but just not for the first session. We're going to be out for the first session in a moment, and I'm looking forward to seeing what my new setup that I've put on the car is going to be like, and what this circuit is like in warmer temperatures and brand new sticky practice tyres. Let's go. If you're enjoying this video so far, please consider giving it a like. Still not on the fancy camera, sorry about that, we're still on the phone camera, but here we go. Here's Danny's car, looking a little bit more together. The only thing it's missing is wheels, and he's doing that right now. So we've now got a working engine, now got an engine that runs. We've got fuel, the correct fuel, not two-stroke anymore, in the tank. I've done the throttle cable, Danny, I've got to say. It's done now. Your pedal might not be in exactly the position you want, but we can adjust that. I've put a chain guard on, might not pass scrutineering at the moment, but we'll get onto that when we have to. So just run with it, it's fine. Just make sure your wheels are on tight, and you can literally put this down and go and drive it now. So there we go. We still need. Oh, a keyway. I'll go get a keyway. I'm finished now for the day. There's still another session, but I just want to really prep the kart, get it looking really nice, and make sure it's ready for scrutineering, which happens like from now. Got to fit some wheels. Going well. I think we're certainly one of, if not the fastest out there. Awning hasn't blown away yet. Time to prep the kart and be ready for the morning. So it's Saturday evening. We've spent the day doing testing, building karts, fixing karts, holding down awnings, trying to stop them from blowing away. Looks like it's going to pour with rain now. Look at those clouds. So we're having a cider and chilling out, doing some final work on the karts.
Something inside so strong.
I've been demonetized because that was such a good rendition.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you a star.
You're a
Why?
Did she decline? No. Did she mind? Don't think so. And on Thursday and Friday and Saturday,
Go-karts on Sunday. Goose.
Duck.
Pheasant. Alex has been overtaken for the first time today, but not the last.
Go on in. Hey Brad, how about put the camera away and help?
But then I wouldn't get this footage.
You got plenty of footage of me bending over last night then.
I hope the camera picked that up.
What the f*** is that?
We can't miss that.
Why not?
So Russell is going to repair oil rigs in the North Sea immediately after this, so he thought he'd just save time and wear this as his race suit. We've got the karts ready to go. We're going out for 3 laps of practice in just a moment. It's just a warm-up. We're basically just going to scrub the shine off these tyres.
What's the plan? Because I'm following you, so let's scrub all the tyres.
So the plan is we are going to do 2 laps, not the full 3. So an out lap and an in lap, no timed laps. Gently bring the tyres in. So no deliberate scrub, just drive.
So no weaving?
No weaving.
Just drive,
because
slowly.
I'll weave on the out lap of the race because we need to get temperature. I don't want temperature in this session. I don't want an extra heat cycle.
Right.
I want the tyres to stay cold, but I just want to take the shine off the top, but I want them to be brand new still for the race. That's it.
Cool.
That's the task. That's what we're going to go do.
Breakfast of Champions.
How did the warm-up go?
Really slow. I had this bloke in front of me who just drove really ridiculously slowly, and you know, wheels stayed on. And it's nice to have time to actually clean the car before it goes down.
I'm going to show you just how much scrub I wanted to do in that session. Now, we've got to run these tyres all year, so we want as little life taken out of them as possible, but in particular today, you want them as fresh as possible to start the first race. You can see it's still shiny, so just here, there's still some oils, a little bit shiny. That'll go once we lean on the tyre a little bit. Obviously, all of the centre here is a dull matte grey, but it's had absolutely no real temperature put in. We've just scrubbed off the top layer of oils and releasing agent, ready to race, and they should come up really nice and sticky for the first flying lap. So we're about 10-15 minutes out from our very first race of the season. We've been building up to this the whole winter. Alex and I have completely stripped and rebuilt the car. They were down to the bare frame. You've seen the build videos on this channel. It's now the moment of truth. We've done the testing, we've done the practice.
It's the whole thing. You just came over and said, is everybody really excited? It's all really exciting. There's this excitement, but a level of apprehension as well. There's a tense feel across the paddock because everyone's getting ready to get going. So let's go.
So, after a winter of waiting, finally the new GX UK series gets underway, and I happen to be starting on the grid next to Alex Vangeen. Who would have thought it? I'm hoping to not stay here for very long. Alex, I'm going to absolutely destroy you. You think I'm wishing you good luck, but I'm actually just saying I hope you fall to the back. Obviously, I want Alex to do as well as possible, just not as well as me. We've got championship favourite, in my eyes, over here, number 28, Andy Hicks. And on the front row with him, we've got Richard Melton Baxter, Tom Stalker straight in front of me as well. Russell Endine, actually, very, very rapid. Number 14 is a bit more unknown. He's running a camera. Oh. And so are we on the rear. And then we were on track for our single formation lap, getting as much heat into the tyres as possible before we waited for the national flag to be dropped just past the start line to signal the start of the first race of the season. Now the first corner here at Philpot is a long right-hander, so it makes it very important to get to the right-hand side as early as you can to overtake the people in the left lane, as well as to block off anyone behind you from overtaking you. And on this start, I managed to get up to third position immediately. It worked out perfectly, there was just enough of a gap to get through, and I slotted in front of Alex Vangeen. And then I had Tom Anger and Andy Hicks in the lead to try and catch, and it seems certainly in this early phase I'm a bit more confident with the entry speed into the chicane, so I'm straight onto the tail of Tom, and then my only thoughts are to try and line him up for an easy move into the hairpin. And it looks like it's going to be easily done, but I actually misjudged my own rear tyre temperature and locked the rears and go a little bit deep, making side-to-side contact with Tom, so that's my fault. Hold my hands up to that. I was looking for a penalty flag for that, but it didn't come, so I was happy to hold on to the place and then set off in pursuit of Andy Hicks in the lead, see if we can close him down. And so obviously at this point all I'm doing is just trying to push as hard as possible and now try and make as few mistakes as possible, but I do want to close down that gap. Andy turns in a little bit late to the chicane. I seem to make up a couple of kart lengths there, and I start to think maybe there's something in this, maybe I can get close to him, and once I'm behind him a slipstream's going to help me out. Andy goes deep into the top corner there, misses the apex, and that really does start to give me a sniff of catching him. If he makes any more of those errors, I should be able to get onto his tail. So again, I'm looking to focus on using as much curb as possible into these chicanes, really minimise the distance, maximise the entry speed I can carry, and then in this fast left-hander try and carry as much speed as possible without getting any significant understeer or oversteer. Nice clean line into the hairpin here, and it looks like we're basically holding station at this point. I haven't quite managed to drag him in. Let's see if we can make some time up through the dogleg. Andy turns in a little bit late for that as well. I'm carrying a little bit more speed. I think we've gained a couple of tenths at this point. And I'm thinking here we're just getting a smidge of a slipstream. It's just going to be starting to help us out here. Maybe if he starts going defensive, we're going to gain even more time. At the moment though, Andy's sticking to the racing line, although I use a bit more curb a bit earlier and get closer to the apex in the inside here. And again, I think maybe a tenth or two we've closed in. So it's going to be down to the next couple of corners whether or not we can get really close to him. And again there, just a few inches wide of the apex at the top corner, I'm smelling blood. I'm really trying to push and I want this race win. So again, let's go absolutely banzai into the chicane, and now we're definitely in the slipstream. We've closed right onto his tail and I can smell his exhaust fumes. Now I'm thinking about where we can try and overtake, and I'm going to try and size him up to see if there's any weakness. And he gets a little bit sideways on the entry to the hairpin there, but still gets a very, very good exit. But I know this time we're going to have a good run down the main straight. Maybe we can make something happen. We're looking pretty similar through the dogleg section there. As we exit onto the long straight, I think maybe I can draw him in. I'm in the slipstream, should be able to get closer. Don't seem to be able to get very close in the slipstream. It seems to hold station. So again then it's going to be into the chicane. That's where we close up a little bit under braking. And he gets sideways in the middle there. Can I then get a run on him on the exit? Not this time, but we are drawing close. So now really close to the back of him. He gets a good exit, going wide on the exit of the top corner there. It's not really an overtaking opportunity into the next chicane. Very, very dangerous with the tyre barriers on both sides. But I know I can use more curb, take a better line. He's gone really deep in the middle there. And I come out in a similar position, just a little bit closer. So is there a sniff of an opportunity down into the hairpin? Not this time, not close enough. But Andy gets a massive swapper on, so I should be able to get a much quicker exit. Somehow he still comes off the corner quicker. But at this point, I can smell a weakness. I can see that there are some mistakes creeping in. He's under pressure, and he really wants his first GX UK race win, and I want to take it away from him, so I'm going to try everything I can to get through. Is there a space on the grass even on the right? No, he doesn't leave enough room, and I can't quite get down the inside. It's just a little bit too tight this time. I don't want side-to-side contact, don't want to throw this away. He's gone a little deep again in the chicane, but still gets a good exit, and now he's going defensive. Now he's starting to change his lines because he knows that I'm there. Uses a lot of curb there on the inside of the long right hander. Not sure that was intentional, and we're just going to have to keep trying, going to have to keep buzzing around his rear here and see if we can force a mistake. Now he's starting to use more curb. He knows he needs to push harder, so Andy's gone into the chicane a little bit quicker that time. I'm just trying to hang on to the back, wait for an opportunity, wait for a gap to appear. Again, deep. He's missed the apex into the hairpin there and still somehow managed to get a better exit than me. I'm going to get slightly frustrated at this point because it doesn't matter what I do, I can't seem to get that run on the exit. It's very, very difficult to overtake here, but now he's gone deep in the dogleg. I managed to almost get alongside and I want to use that momentum. I want to go to the right-hand side. He knows I want to do that, so he completely covers it off. Very, very difficult to go around the outside here, and cleverly he pushes me wide on the entry. And that not only protects his position, it means I can't gain any advantage through the chicane. Still though, going a little bit defensive into the top corner, but he manages to get back to the racing line, ready for the corner. This time easily makes the apex, and you can see we are both now pushing extremely hard. I don't know where I'm going to try and get through at this point. I really don't know what the opportunity is. I know I'm faster at this phase of the race, I just can't get past, and this track is just so tough to get a clean pass. Little snap of oversteer there from Andy, so I look to the inside, but he goes middle of the track on the way through the hairpin. Again, slight miss of the apex, but it doesn't seem to affect him. But it doesn't matter that I'm quicker into the dogleg here. I can't use that speed, so I'm going to deliberately back off, try and get a good run onto the straight. Now we're very, very close. We should be able to get a very good slipstream this time, if only we could get far enough alongside. You see, I thought about the right-hand side. I really want that inside line into the first chicane, but Andy is clever enough to not give it to me. Big snap of oversteer from Andy on the brakes into that chicane. That actually compromises both of us that time, so he hasn't lost out. There's only one line through there anyway, and I can't drive through him, so we're going to have to try something different. Andy's gone a little bit wide on the exit of the long right-hander. Can I get close into the next chicane? Certainly not enough room to get past, so let's just see if we can get a better exit than him. Again, definitely tighter, definitely get a good run, but not close enough to make a move into the next corner. It's going to have to be hairpin. Although, having said that, just a few corners later, I do manage to get up the inside of Andy through the dogleg section, and I'm then on the outside going onto the main straight. We nearly had that run we were after, but still, there's no way through at this point. Andy's placing his car in all the right places just to prevent me getting enough of an overlap to get through. So let's fast forward to the final lap, where an opportunity finally arises. We're approaching traffic, which is always an opportunity, but Andy also gives me a massive gap to the inside into the hairpin, which I gladly take. I'm alongside on the exit, but Andy still manages to just draw ahead, and at this point, our bumpers interlock twice. It could have gone a lot worse for both of us there, and really that's my fault, just trying to take advantage of the back marker, but it didn't pay off at all. Andy came off fine, and I was lucky to just about maintain second place, with Tom Angier almost pushing me across the finish line. So, great race from Andy, a thoroughly deserved first victory, but I was determined to not make it easy for him for the rest of the day.
Great job, man. That was really, really good. Your defending was epic.
There was, from what I could see, no way through, except on the final lap when I went for a move, but then there was traffic in the way, whatever, it didn't happen that time, so let's try again next time. Awesome, fun race, so more of that please. 10 points if you can work out why Danny is cutting his sprocket. Post in the comments below. If you want your Oops Black and Orange Flag t-shirt, you can grab that from the Philpot store on the bottom of this YouTube channel. Just click on the link below and grab yourself one of our many excellent karting themed t-shirts. So on to Heat 2, this one was much more straightforward. I was starting in third position for this one, on the right hand side, on the correct side of the grid, and it was really just going to be a case of trying to get into the lead as early as possible and extending a gap over all my rivals, trying to finish as far in front of Andy as possible. So the only question mark really was where was I going to be able to make the move and how early can I make the move for the lead. So we're following Simon Fuller in Kart 42, he's got a bit of a gap at this point, definitely I can feel him faster, and then he makes quite a big error on cold tyres into the second chicane, gives me an easy run up the inside, and really from this point onwards I didn't look back. It was quite a straightforward race, so I'm not going to show you the full race this time, but what we will do is show you the very fastest lap of the event, so the lap record lap for the GX UK Seniors, and that's coming up right now. So that was a race win, and I was now sitting at the top of the standings for the day with a P2 and a P1 in my pocket. But it would all come down to the final race, where I was going to start in 14th position, on the outside, the row I didn't want to have, and with some fast drivers directly ahead. As we already know, the outside line at turn 1 is a huge disadvantage, so I'd have to think outside the box if I was going to move forward in this race. I hadn't managed to get back over to the right hand side on the exit of that first chicane, and that allowed Andy straight back through, and that was the last thing I wanted because I just needed to stay in front of him to get pole in the final. What I hadn't banked on was Russell Endine making his way up from 11th to 2nd place in this race, and actually scoring enough points to outscore both me and Andy and take pole position for the final. But that was still in the future. At this point I needed to battle back past Andy and try and reclaim what I thought was pole for the final. So at this point, several laps into the race, I thought I had this covered. I was ahead of Andy and I went defensive into the top corner to stop him getting up my inside. But he got a much better run on the exit and managed to drag past, despite a little bit of contact from me side to side as I carelessly nudged his side pod. From that point on, I just wanted to stay on his tail, try and maybe get back through later on, but make sure I didn't finish more than one position behind, because in my mind, this still guaranteed me pole position for the final. Every move Andy made, I had to shadow and try and make the same one immediately afterwards, so there was no kart between us and I'd be able to take that crucial right-hand side grid spot on pole position. But then, disaster, as Andy gets a great run on Tom Purchase on the exit of the second bus stop, and I choose the wrong lane. To be honest, I think if I went behind Andy, I still wouldn't have made it around the outside of Tom, but I tried to immediately pass him on the inside into the hairpin, and it doesn't work. It doesn't pay off. I've lost more ground, and I've given myself a mountain to climb with just one lap remaining. And on the final lap now, Tom doesn't go wide on the entry to the hairpin, so no opportunity for me there, and really there's not another overtaking spot until the top corner, which we're not going to reach on this lap, but I managed to get alongside him into the final corner and just keep a nose alongside to drag to the line around 0.5 of a second in front.
You outfoxed me.
So after some quick repairs to Alex Vangeen's steering column, it was nearly time for the final. But first, we needed to catch up with today's pole sitter, Russell Endine.
Gonna be a good race though.
Is it going to be a good race though?
I think so. There's a lot could happen. Yeah, looking forward to it though.
So the viewers are going to find out, because you're going to see what happens in that race right now.
So this is the grid for the grand final. We've got Russell Endine, debut race in GX UK, pole position. I'm lining up second, 2 OTKs, similar age. We've then got a Birrell of Lee Jones, and then we've got Andy Hicks's CRG in third place. We're on the outside for turn 1. Let's see what happens with that. It's not ideal. Rather be on the right hand side. Should have qualified on pole. Let's see what we can do.
So, as you've already heard, I was slightly concerned about starting on the outside, but I managed to get around the outside at turn 1 before. So as long as the right hand starting road didn't get a better start than the left, we did have a chance of maybe hanging on to our P2 at turn 1. Okay, so that didn't quite go to plan. Not only have we lost our P2, we're actually down to 4th position as a consequence of a little bit of standard turn 1 contact. But no major drama. As long as Andy doesn't get straight past Russell, we're still in the fight here. Oh, well that happened immediately, so no problem. We'll just take it nice and easy into the hairpin, and we were bundled wide into another car, and unfortunately we've now lost several positions. This is going to be a difficult fight back if we're going to salvage anything from this final. But this is a long championship, and every position here is going to count towards the standings at the end of the season. So we get past Tom Stalker, and we then work together for a few laps with him pushing me along down the straight to help us close in on the next pack, with the first car in line being Lee Jones. So then a couple of laps later, with some help from my new best friend Tom Stalker in the neon orange cart behind, we managed to get around Lee into the second bus stop, and then it's time to start pushing ahead to the lead pack. So after a bit of a nightmare first half of the race, we're back up to 5th position and onto the tail of the pole sitter, Russell Endine. And that was it. With 4th place secured, there was no way to catch the next pack. They were just too far in front to close up to in the remaining laps.
I've been following you. Oh, sorry man, thanks for the push.
No, I thought if that's the only way I'm going to get past Lee.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that helped me.
Right, I've got to film this now. We're back in the tent after the final. Basically, final wrap up. You've seen what happened in the video. We got pushed wide on the first lap. That basically dictated the rest of the race. I tried my hardest to come back. We got back up to 4th. That was the best we could do. Fastest lap though, so you know that's a bit of a consolation. Onwards and upwards at Lid in a few weeks' time. No upgrades for the kart. We'll just try even harder. You know, this is one of those things you've got to keep out of trouble. So next time, we'll try and keep out of trouble. Well done to the podium, in particular Andy, who was rapid all weekend. See you at the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
I need to stop filming now.
How are you, dude?
Okay.
Nice to see you.
Can't wait to get this beauty on track. Finally getting out of rental car and trying something brand new.
See you at the weekend. So just arrived here at Lid. Once again, Alex is not here. I'm here on my own. There's a bit of a similar theme going on here. I guess I will unpack the van on my own, try and set up something here. Let's make our pit area. Here we go. After much lone effort, pit area is built. Carts are in and ready to put the final parts of the carts together. Pop the nose cones on, just check we've got all the tools in the right place, and we're ready for a practice day. What is happening here? They're trying to make Danny's seat fit without rubbing on the clutch. It's quite a heavy duty solution, but I like it. Is this your idea, Nathan?
No, I tried the mallet, it didn't work.
I kind of feel bad that we're abandoning these guys when they're still working, but also I kind of want a burger and a beer at the hotel. We're going to say goodbye to these losers. Bye losers, we're going for dinner.
We're going to go stay at a nice hotel.
See you in the morning.
We're not losers, they who camp at the track.
We did our fair share of helping people, I think.
You did your fair share of helping. I just polished my cart like 7 times.
This was a lovely place to be.
It's a really nice circuit.
I'm glad we've got another 2 days here. My cockiness upon leaving the circuit was immediately turned into karma when we found our hotel room doesn't actually have a bathroom. But it does have this lovely sink over here. This is where Alex and I will be washing and potentially peeing if he doesn't come back with a different solution. So, track people, sorry for being so smug. Oh no! We've got practice tomorrow. He's buying Jaeger bombs. I've already got the hiccups just from the rum and cokes that they've been buying. Speaking of buying things, you can buy this t-shirt on my online store. You whore. Freight train is what happened to me at the last round of GXUK. And you'll see more t-shirts you can buy on the online store during the rest of this episode. Good night. It is 7 AM on Saturday practice day. We're just outside our hotel. We drank an appropriate amount last night. Definitely not too much. Definitely don't feel terrible. I don't feel very well. Thank you very much for that, Tom Purchase, who we met at the bar last night, that you will have already seen in the footage. Oh, good. We've got some things to try out today. I need to not feel sick to do those things, so... Alex, of course, is less affected by the alcohol because of his greater body mass than me. I, on the other hand, am a finely tuned athlete, and so I require optimum nutrition to perform at my best. Right, off to the track.
Morning ladies, how are we? Heavy night?
Oh dear. I'm alright.
You don't seem it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I'm absolutely I need to go do some stuff. We have been working for the last couple of hours on getting all of the carts in our little zone ready. Oh, by the way, this t-shirt available on the Brad Philpot merch store. Please don't race the leaders blue flag t-shirt. We've been working very, very hard. Alex's cart's done. My cart is nearly done. This is always the last one to get worked on, but need to put the wheels on and check the pressures, but apart from that, it's done. The engine that I want to try is down on the floor over here because that needed the spark plug changing and an oil change, so we'll have that for the second run. Dylan's cadet cart seems to be basically ready now. Danny's been working on that. Danny's own cart is ready. Seb here with the cart we built that you've seen earlier in the video. He's pretty much ready to go. Let's go check on our friends around the corner. So around here we've got Ben White in his first race working on the cart, and we've also got Tom Butler with his brand new car. Look at that, lovely. So this is nearly done. Everyone's pretty much ready to go, and we'll be out for the first session shortly. Right, let's go. Right, so we changed the setup slightly. I've gone wider on the, oh, we've got a problem. Haven't put the fuel cap back on. Right, here we go then. Sebastian's first ever run out in front, and that's a cart I put together, so I hope that holds together. He's going to be learning the track though in this run, so I'm going to go straight through. And let's go get some clean laps in for a baseline. So for me on this run, I really just want to see what today's lap times are like with the engine I've got on now, and then we're going to change to the other engine and give that one a try. Whoa, there's not much grip through there on cold tyres. Alright, off we go then. The tyres will just be coming up to temperature. We're quite low on the pressures in this run. 45.0. This is pretty slow. Pretty slow times, maybe it's the temperature.
And there's Sebastian. Looks like he's been waiting for us. Let's just give him some room here. Oh. Okay, times are coming down now as the pressures come up. The live delta's not working.
So without wanting to bore you completely to tears, let's just run through the one fastest lap I did in practice. You see at the first chicane, the most important thing is just to use all of the curb. And at the second chicane, right up to the grass, pretty much on both sides, trying to get on the power as early as possible, heading up to the hairpin. Now here you need to try and nearly go full throttle, but if you actually stay full throttle, the kart tends to bind up in the middle, so a little half lift tends to help. Sweeping out wide, then nearly touching the first curb through these sweepers, using all of the inside curb around the long left and on the little right kink. Obviously down the long straight you could tuck in. On this lap I don't, just sit back. No braking here, full throttle on the way in, little half lift in between the two apexes, and then blast across the finish line. And that's the end of practice. Look at the awesome race suit on this cadet.
The first ever race season.
Evan, your helmet looks cool, your race suit looks cool. It matches my race suit, which makes it really, really cool.
First ever time on this track, think we're doing well.
It's a really good track, you're going to love it. Good luck, man.
Feels like I've gained some speed out there from the practices we've done and that. It's been very fun. Yeah.
Cool. All right, go get good sleep. See you in the morning.
Take care, cheers.
See ya.
Right, that's it. That's practice day over. We had some really good testing, tried different engines, different tyre pressures, different gearing. I think we were not far off doing damage to our engines if we carried on running the gearing we were on. So, important tweaks for tomorrow.
We did some engine changes. I've actually got, I found about 3/10 from a different engine, so my engine needs a freshen up. I'm on the pace, I think. So we will see how tomorrow goes.
And now it's on to some racing. This is the order of the day today. Use more curb. That is how to be fast on this track. That's how Alex hurt his back, by using more curb. You can pick up this t-shirt from the Brad Philpot merch store. Check it out in the link below. This is Alex's standard pre-race routine. He's actually praying. He's praying for the last half a second.
Okay, you can stop filming now.
Yeah, Angie had trouble yesterday. He didn't get out there much.
Not a lot of prep to do today because we did everything last night. Let's just go open up the awning, give the karts a bit of polish. Good morning, team.
Morning, we're home.
How you doing?
How was the evening?
Lovely.
All good?
Windy.
Hi.
Gonna get a podium today?
Never know.
I think you were quite quick yesterday. I think you're in the hunt for top fives in the races, which is really good.
Hopefully.
Let's do it.
Stranger things have happened.
Yep. We're here in the awning, it's race day. We've got a short practice, followed by 3 heats and a final. Each of the heats counts for points, exactly like at the last race, so you'll know this. Every single race we do counts towards the championship, but the final counts for more points, and that's the one that gets trophies handed out at the end of the day, so that's the really important one. We know our grids. I'm starting at the back for the first one, and then really near the front for the second one, and then somewhere in the middle for the third one, if I remember correctly. Alex is slightly more around the middle for all of them. And I'm going to try and find him in the first race, catch him, pass him easily, and drive into the distance. Championship leader.
Hello, friends.
Championship
How you doing?
favourite.
And race weekend favourite, Andy Hicks.
Where are you starting from?
14th for first race.
The first one.
Yeah.
Be careful of the novices, mate.
Okay, viewers, so first race, we're starting in 14th position. So we've got to move forward. Championship rival, Andy is starting a lot further forward in this first race. This track is difficult to make forward progress on. We need to work on some racecraft here. I've not really had much time to practice overtaking people because every time I try and wait in the pits at the beginning of the practice sessions, no one will go out until I've gone out. They don't want me practicing around them. So we're going to be learning a lot in this first race. So wish me luck. We've got about 20 minutes till we're out. It's a beautiful day. Let's go do some go-kart racing.
This is going to be a, hopefully, exciting race because we've got a very fast row of karts in front of us. Matt, who finished second at the last round. Sebastian, this is his first owner driving race, there's Matt. And in front of him we've got Tom Stalker, who's really, really fast. And then we've got championship leader Andy Hicks. We've also got our friend Alex Vangeen on the right, and Tom Purchase in the 86 kart, who is aggressive and confident, not necessarily the quickest. I think we're in the best row. We're going to find out. We've got Tom Angier on pole position there. Tom is confident. If he can break away, he's going to have a nice beginning to this race, but Andy Hicks is likely to chase him down and get past. Let's see what happens, because this is a potential to lose a lot of points to Andy in the championship in this race. See if we can work out where to overtake, see if we can get through cleanly, and then try and avoid the carnage up ahead. Let's do this. This is going to be about controlled aggression in this race. Jacob Sharrock here, another new driver to the series. Definitely not a new driver though.
So here we go then, the end of the formation lap. In the first of the day's 3 heats, we're starting directly behind Matthew Roberts. We've got Jacob Sharrock there, the number 25, also looking racy. At this point, absolutely no idea what's going to happen. So just try and get a good run. When the lights go green, everyone's going to bunch up into the first chicane. I want to use a lot of curb, but there's not really much space here to do anything at the moment. Just looking at how it's shaping up, and there's a gap to the right of Matt, so we're going to use that. Everyone's tyres are cold. Just making sure we're driving into space and not into other cars. Jacob there making contact, forcing a little gap. I'm happy to take that open door and drive through with him. Although I don't get a great run on the exit. We're going to dive down the inside, and now Tom Purchase there just arrests our progress a little bit.
Right, Sharrock's had a great start.
I'm indicating to the carts behind to work together. No one ever listens to that, we do it anyway. So we're now sitting behind Tom Purchase. Jacob Sharrock there really did well to get through. And at this point, still don't really know what's going to happen here. Just going to try and make some progress. I use a lot more curb there than Tom in the first chicane. And so we're looking for a gap. Wow, and Tom Stalker goes on the grass. Absolutely rockets across in front of everyone here. So Tom Purchase checks up. I get a run on him, have to take to the grass to try and avoid going into him if I want to keep my momentum up. Let's see if we can try that exact same move again. I obviously wasn't very happy there because I didn't pull that off, and I nearly got overtaken by another cart, but now I've really got a run on Tom. Nowhere to go though, can't drive through him, don't really want to push him. He's got a metal bumper there that my nose cone could get stuck underneath, so we're just going to go to the side, and now we do have a clear passing opportunity into the double right-hander, which is the final corner. Big gap now though to the carts in front, so we've got quite a lot of work to do here if we want to close on the leading pack. Let's try and use that speed that we developed in the practice day, use lots of curb and try and rely on the guys in front fighting. They'll lose a lot of time battling, so here we go again, lots of curb on both sides, and we've already reeled in this next little fight. So let's see who is up ahead. Looks like Tom Stalker is the next cart. So where are we quicker? And Tom's going for a move. So that's going to slow both of these drivers down. Now we're right on their tail. Can we use this momentum to try and slingshot past? Little dummy to the left, and definitely got to run to the right-hand side here. Should be an out-braking manoeuvre here, yep, and there's no brakes for this corner anyway, so we just send that through. I asked the driver behind to work with me. I've obviously come from a long way back, so that suggests I'm quicker. Lots of curb again. Another better run than the cart in front. This is definitely Tom Stalker. He goes defensive, so he's going to start losing us both time unless I can get past him quickly. I'm looking for a switchback. Is there room up the inside? Nope. So I'm going to try and go for a cutback after the hairpin here. It looks like there's a big gap now, but look at the run I've got on him. He suggests that we work together. I suggest that I'm going to go down his inside. So down I go, and he gives me the room. We both get through, and now I've got to set off to try and catch the leading pack. Looks like a gaggle of 4 or 5 carts that managed to break away. Not very long heat, so we don't have a long time to try and reel them back in, so we are going to rely on them battling. Let's see. At this point, again, just trying to push hard. So some clear space. Let's try and pull away from the carts behind. Use the speed again that we practiced yesterday. See if we can draw these guys in. So I can see Alex Vangeen's one of those carts. I can see Tom Angier still heading the pack. I can see Andy Hicks is up there too. And who else? Has Jacob Sharrock made his way up here? Looks like Jacob Sharrock there made a move on Richard Melton Baxter, who was the pole sitter. Richard wasn't happy, just saw some gesticulations. And now we've managed to close up on them. So within half a lap, we are now with the leading pack. So this is looking good.
Next up, we got Richard Melton Baxter.
Rich looking for a move on Jacob. They're still battling. They've gone wide. Rich has just handed me that position, so I'm very grateful for that one. So we can get straight on to Jacob. Let's see how long it takes us to work on Jacob. Can we find a way through? He's not stupid, so he's going to cover me off. A move down the inside into this second chicane doesn't guarantee the place, because then you're on the outside for the next corner, but I managed to get through, so nice and clear through. 3 karts to go, I say to him, don't fight me, let's catch those 3 in front. Much rather finish in the top 3, so let's go hunting. So it's still Tom Angier leading, and then we've got Andy Hicks and Alex Vangeen having a great race here. They are fighting though, they are going to be slowing each other down. I can see they're taking non-standard lines. Look, there's some defence going on up ahead. That's going to help us close in. We're able to just drive the exact line that we want for the moment until we close up to the back. So again, lots of curb through the first chicane, carrying loads of speed. There's still more defending going on for the lead. Andy's looking for a move on Tom. Tom's managed to retain it. And which way do we go? We've got to make a quick decision. I decide we're going to go really wide and try that same cutback that we did earlier on in the race, and it's worked. Straight past Alex Vangeen, up to 3rd position now. A little bit of defence because I don't want him coming back at me. Now we've got our title rival and championship leader Andy Hicks in the number 28 kart. Never been an easy person for me to pass, and I don't think I've ever managed to really pull away from him in a race, so this is going to be a tricky one. But he's got a fight for the lead to think about as well, so I actually back off here deliberately so I can then get on the power early and get a good run through here. It seems to work. Now I can see Andy looking right, so I go left and dive for the inside to try and catch him unaware, but he was quite aggressive turning across. He didn't expect me to be there, so I kind of expected him to do that anyway, so I backed out of it just in time. We made some contact, but that has lost me a position now with the momentum loss to Jacob. But we dive straight back through, so back up to 3rd place. Happy that my engine's working well, and happy that I feel like I've really got to grips with this circuit. So I gesticulate to Jacob, let's work together. We've still got a chance of winning this race. So podium's nice, but it would be good to finish in front of these guys. So I'm going to push to close back up, and I think Tom Angier is going to help me by defending some more. There he goes, defending to the inside for the first chicane. We're going to now get a great run on these two. Look, we're right back with them already. Again, Andy attacking on the inside to this chicane. Uses lots of curb, no contact though, but they've run really wide. Which way can I go? Switch back to the inside, but now I'm going to get a dodgy run off of this corner. I'm not going to have as good an exit, so I move to the right to defend against Andy. I've lost places like that to Andy before, so I didn't want to do it this time. Now we've got one more person in this race to try and overtake. So from our worst starting position, we're now in absolutely the best position I could have imagined. Just one more spot to go to try and take the lead. But this isn't going to be easy. Andy's been working on this for 5 or 6 laps and not managed to get through. So Tom's clearly doing a good job defending. What can we do differently? Is there anywhere that Andy hasn't tried that we can try? Tom's certainly keeping his kart in the middle of the track there. The normal, obvious one would be to try the inside there, but it didn't work for Andy on the last lap. So far, no clear runs, and I have to deal with Andy behind me. Have to defend. I just saw his little orange CRG sticker poking up the inside there on the way to the hairpin. So again, we're defending into this sweeping corner, but there's traffic coming up. How's the traffic going to affect us? So we all decide to go around the outside. But again, I'm right back on the tail of the leader. He's going to go defensive. I don't really want his defending giving Andy a chance to get past me, so not quite sure what to do here. By attacking, you do leave yourself open to be attacked yourself. So I'm only going to go for a move here if it's clearly on. And I think there's one clearly on here. I go to the right as Tom looks left. I'm fully alongside over the curb. No contact, but Tom goes deep. And our momentum is stopped. Andy's got a chance around the outside, so I give Tom a little push to make sure that he gets to the corner first and that I've got the inside. And now it's me and Andy side by side. We're going to go side by side into the fastest corner on the circuit. We're still side by side. And we've made contact. I didn't expect that to happen, but a little bit of a nudge there from behind as we both try and squeeze through. And it looks like Tom Angier's got away now. Not too worried about that because I kind of wanted a gap. It wasn't looking easy to get past him, and every time I tried was going to give Andy a chance to get past me. So really my focus in this entire event, not just this race, is on Andy. He's the clear favourite, and he's the person I want to be in front of. So at this point, I actually don't really want to get too close to Tom Angier. I just want to be able to cleanly cover the inside and try not to let Andy get a run on me. So there's a yellow flag. Tom's raised his hand. We're both looking for what caused the yellow flag, and it looks like some karts off to the side of the straight here, so no overtaking at this point. It's the last lap anyway, so I'm just going to back off as I get near the back of Tom here and just try and preserve my second place. And as you're about to hear, I'm very, very pleased with coming from my lowest position up to second.
Yes! 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 Quite pleased with that one.
And apologies for your eardrums there. Quite an adrenaline release. Wasn't really expecting to finish so highly and to manage to come out of all those fights unscathed. So super pleased with that one. Great foundation to start the rest of the day with. Let's see what we can do from here. So straight into the second race. This time we're starting in third position, directly behind the pole setter Sebastian Musiker. Now this is only Seb's second ever race. Today is his first owner-driver meeting, so really I expect to try and get past immediately. My whole plan here is to get through the first corner nice and safely, and then try and make a move. So here we go. Seb goes when the lights go green. We all head on into turn one. I'm up to second place. I'm going to go for a switchback over to the left, cut back to the right, and Seb gives me the room, and I make quite a nice easy move into the second chicane. And now, to be honest, I don't look back from this point. I just stay out in front, pull a nice big gap, and really my own race isn't that interesting from this point onwards. I'm just pushing to try and get the fastest laps I can, and then in the final couple of laps I actually back off a bit to try and save the engine. So 5-second win, but there was a much more interesting race going on behind. So let's just take a look at a little bit of a clip from Alex Vangeen's onboard and see what happened to him, because he was running in second position for most of the race. Now I'm watching this for the first time myself, so we're seeing this together for the first time, viewers. So I know Alex doesn't end up in second position, but I don't know why that happened. So we're going into the top hairpin. He's been a little bit defensive into there, so I'm expecting Karts to try and come through on the right-hand side. He's defended the right. He's left a gap though, and there through goes Jacob Sharrock. That's put Alex offline, and I imagine that's going to make him vulnerable. Yeah, round the outside comes Andy Hicks. Andy actually going over the grass to complete that move, giving a little cheeky thumbs up when he does it. And really, that's the end of Alex's chance at a podium. But valiant effort, and really showing he's got the pace to be one of the front runners for the rest of the season. So, back to my race. We're rounding the final two corners on the final lap, and there's the checker flag. So I'm pretty happy with that one. Actually, less happy than I was in the first race, but purely because it was an easier race.
Well, that went well. Happy with that. Andy made his way through. Alex Vangeen held on really well by the looks of it for most of the race. I think they got him at the end. Did he get third or fourth? Fifth? Oh, he doesn't look happy. It's me and Andy at the front, so.
Right, okay, so we finally prepped the car after race two. I've got some time to talk to you. You've seen what happened on camera. Probably not that exciting, to be honest. I imagine I skipped through that one a bit in the video because we got into the lead on the first few corners and then just pulled away. We've changed the gearing for the final race because I'm worried I'm going to blow this engine up. We're starting to rev very high and it's very, very hot. So we're going to go again in race three. We're starting somewhere near the front, just not quite as far up the front as in the last race. Wish me luck, and I'll see you then. But before we do that, let's speak to the man whose kart you saw in the beginning of the video, Tom Butler. Tom, how has it been driving the kart that I built you?
It's a lot nicer. Having a nice go-kart compared to my shed of a go-kart that I had at Fullback, it's definitely a lot better. I mean, it's so much easier to drive just with cornering and things, and I'm actually fighting with people that I wanted to fight at Fullback, but I just couldn't because of the limitation of a bad go-kart, so definitely it's so much better.
Happy to have another driver in the OTK crew. Right, see you after the third heat. So here we go then for the third and final heat. Now what happens here is a bit strange. I'm in the left row there in fourth position and our row gets a better start. You see me and Tom Stalker are slightly ahead, but he actually backs off to let Jacob Sharrock go.
Fucking idiot.
So after calling Tom Stalker a rude name for being too fair at the start, I set about trying to salvage something, try and go around the outside of Tom. That one seems to work, but Matthew Roberts has got ahead, and now we've got Richard Melton Baxter who's come around my outside, so need to try and get him back. I'm out of position heading out of the hairpin. Someone's alongside me on the right, that's Tom Stalker again. And all of that has allowed the leader, Jacob Sharrock, to get miles into the distance. So we're going to need to try and get past Richard Melton Baxter quickly. I don't want to be held up. I know I've got a lot more pace than him, so I'm going to try and find a way through as quickly as possible. So we're going into the final couple of corners, the two right-handers, and it's pretty even Stevens. It's this first chicane though where I really tend to make up ground, so let's see. I'm going to use loads of curb on the left, and again that seems to have worked. I've got a good run on Rich, but is there a way through here? He sees me, he goes defensive. I don't want to do another move like I did on Andy earlier where we made contact into that corner, so we're going to try and do it in a safer position. Going into the hairpin, Rich looks to the right. I've gone wide to try and cut back. Let's see if we can get a run on him here. Definitely got a run, but he knows I'm here. He's going to go defensive. He squeezes. I go all the way to the inside. Try and give him room. Give him a kart width on the inside. I'm side by side all the way around the edge, and he squeezed me completely over the grass, but I've seen that move work before. Andy Hicks did it on Alex Vangeen earlier on. And Tom Stalker's followed me through, but not only that, he's actually gone down the inside, probably with a little bit of a helping hand with a push from behind. And another position needlessly lost means more hard work for me, and it's going to be even harder to try and get to the front in this race. So, going to need to try and find a way past Tom Stalker. He is not stupid. He is using his peripheral vision and turning his head side to side. He's trying to keep track of where I am, so I'm going to have to work hard to find a gap. Let's do the same move we've done several times today, which is a late turn into the hairpin, a cut back. We've even done this move on Tom, but this time he's wise to it and he goes completely defensive, so no way through there. It's going to have to be somewhere else. He's one of the only drivers doing that same line as me, running a tyre fully on the curb on the inside through there. Oh, and I'm not happy about that because I committed to a move to the right and he then moved across in response to that. So I thought I already had a bit of an overlap and I had to back out of it to avoid an accident. So I wasn't too happy with that, but me and Tom are friends, so I don't mind too much. We're going to use a load of curb again here. Tom also using lots of curb through there, and you see I don't really pull much of a gap there. He goes defensive again into the second chicane, trying not to lose time to the leaders. I use a load of curb on the inside there, just desperate to try and get a run. He's defensive. Let's try the same thing again, and this time he gets sideways over the curb. That's the invitation we need. This time we're more than alongside. We're ahead going into the fast right-hander. Back up to what I think now is 4th position. A few more places to go, but Jacob Sharrock is gone. He is long gone into the distance. So let's see what we can do about these 2 karts in front. Just need to try and fend off Tom. A little bit of a defence down the straight. Don't want him coming back through again. So now we're on the back of Tom Purchase. We have met before. Let's see if we can get past him relatively quickly. And it looks like Matthew Roberts in front of him. So we've closed right up to the back of Tom. Not quite sure where I go on this one. He knows I'm here. He's gone defensive. So we're going to try a cut back. Maybe down the inside into the hairpin. Nope, it's going to be another outside and then cut back down to the fast sweepers. Can we get a run? It's going to have to be a late one if we're going to do it. He's defended. We've gone even further to the right and we're through, and he's left me the room. So managed to get onto my nice tight line through there. Next up, Matthew Roberts. So down the long straight. We're onto the podium positions now. I say thanks to Tom for giving me room, and he's trying to come back at me, but I've got the high ground here on the inside, so I think that's the end of that fight from Tom. Next up, Matt. Let's see how long it takes us to catch up with him. So, same again, my favourite line through here. It's my favourite corner. It's absolutely wrecked my ribs, that corner, through the weekend, but I love driving through it whilst my ribs hung on. So again, plenty of curb on both sides. Always use more curb. It does tend to be the answer, certainly at this track. And for once, I'm not having to defend. For once, I'm not having to do any cutbacks, not having to attack, just taking the fastest line possible. This is probably where I set my fastest lap in the race. I think we got the fastest lap of the meeting during this race. So maybe it's this lap where we're chasing down Matthew. Maybe even with a little bit of a slipstream from Matthew. Here we go. He had his head down. It's not going to be enough, especially when he goes wide like that. He missed the first apex, and that's given us several meters. Here we go then, into the first chicane. We've got a gap, a big enough gap that I should be able to get a run. Where can we go? I can't remember where this happened. Surely not. Surely it's not as easy as that. So I go side by side. Oh, he doesn't make it easy for me. We had to give each other room, but I have managed to make it through. He definitely tried to stay there though, so fair play to Matt. And now one more kart to go. And to be honest, this was actually an impossible task. Despite having a bit of a pace advantage, I think I was 2 to 3 tenths of a second per lap quicker than the leader. It was just way too far in front to catch. So he does get a little bit closer, but ultimately going to have to settle for second in this one. But great fun pushing, and a really top job by Jacob to take a win in his first GX UK meeting. So that really was it for the heats. I knew that I'd secured pole position for the final, and I was looking forward to a final, starting alongside, as always, my championship rival Andy Hicks. So 3rd heat done. That will be pole position for me for the final. We've had a second, a first and a second. I think I was actually comfortably quickest in that one. There was some loser up ahead winning the race, called Jacob Sharrock though. And here he is. Yeah. Jacob, how was that first race win in GX UK?
It was good. Had some problems, but got it going at the end.
Another win for the OTK crew. Is that all the races today won by OTKs?
Yes.
Woo! I've got no official affiliation, I just like them. Right, good luck for the final, not too much good luck. Right, quick explainer guys. there is no final. We were getting ready to start the final. We were all walking up there. And there was a big accident in one of the races before us, and as there's only one ambulance here and the driver had to be taken to hospital, there's not enough time to finish the meeting. So that is it. There is actually no final. We're here stripping the karts. Nathan is doing a lot of work for me whilst I'm getting changed. But the results have been declared as the starting positions for the finals. So our hard work through the rest of the weekend is not in vain, and that means, I think, I'm waiting until I've physically got a trophy in my hand, but I think that means that I win the meeting and I get the points. So really, really good points haul. Don't know what the championship scores are right now. By the time I post this video, I will, and I will let you know. Hey everyone, it's Future Brad here. Yeah, we took the championship lead by a small margin heading into round 3.
This is your novice winner. Shouldn't be a novice because he's too quick.
And the kart I built. So on to round 3 at Houghton Park, a track we've actually been to before and where I won the O-Plate last year. Can't wait to be back with all these guys for another race in the friendliest paddock in the UK. Thanks for watching and see you next time. I know I said I've finished the video, but I haven't because I need to show you, like, this is proper karting this. They're doing a bump start as if it's a direct drive 100cc kart. Oh, nearly.
Ignition off. When you put it in gear, put it in second. Yeah. Right, let's go. Quality content for you. Oh, take it to spin route track as well. Go! 3. Oh!
So that's the end of the practice day. Went through a whole sweep of setup changes on the car. I'm really happy with how it is. There's a couple of drivers in this meeting this weekend who are really fast, although they are normally front runners. So let's see how that pans out in the race and see who our new rivals are. Sebastian Musica has done a full strip down on the rear of his car to clean, which I massively approve of. I love the effort. The axle's over there. Everyone should do this. I definitely can't be bothered.
A few people are just really fast and I'm not that fast. We need to find something for tomorrow.
It's all part of my package, so... my package.
What a beautiful day to go go-karting. Me and Alex have our coffees. Johnny's got his race suit on like he's a cadet on his way to the track. Alex, where are you going to finish today?
First. I'm top 5.
Okay.
Top 5, podium would be awesome. However, my 2 biggest competitors for P3 are Tom Angier and Tom Stalker, and they were rapid yesterday, so I wish them luck. So we don't mind if Johnny wins the whole day.
If Johnny's ahead of us, it doesn't actually affect our championship. We don't gain as many points.
I'd actually rather Johnny won. If Johnny can just go off and win, I'd be really happy.
No, well, yeah, you're f***ing high on painkillers, clearly.
Right, heat 1. There are 26 karts on the grid, absolute record grid for GX UK. It's been a complicated and confusing couple of days because the track seems to change massively depending on the temperatures. Setup, I really don't know. I've changed engines, I've changed pressures dramatically, you know, huge differences. And I've just gone back to what I felt most comfortable on yesterday. This might not be brilliant, this is just going to be a bit of a fight. There are so many quick people all around, and a lot of them are ahead of us. Everyone around us is now fast and in good equipment. It's a very different prospect here to the last time we raced here for the O-Plate. The quality of the grid has dramatically increased. The drivers are great, they've got great karts, They know what they're doing. This should just be a really good race. Here we go.
So welcome to Heat 1 of the weekend. This is actually an interesting race. Not the most action-packed of the day, but actually still pretty interesting, and that's because we've got some strategy involved. All of us in the fight know that we can't afford to do anything rash and lose any positions because it's so difficult to gain those positions back. So as you can see at the first corner, I've made a place or two just by virtue of being on the inside line, and I'm now up behind Tom Stalker in the number 31 kart, who in turn is chasing Tim Kansas in the number 79 kart. And we're all slightly held up. All of us in this little pack here are looking to move forward, and everyone's being a little bit wary of everyone else. They don't want to go for a move in case that then opens them up to be overtaken themselves. You see Tom ran slightly wide there on the exit of that double left-hander. That's given me the first indication that maybe he has a weakness and there might be an opportunity to overtake at some point. At the moment though, just going to follow him, trying to work together as much as possible to not lose the pack ahead of us and make progress. Tom was one of the fastest drivers in the practice the day before. I know he's going to be a front runner today, so there's no point battling with him when both of us should be quite a lot further up the grid. Now, he goes defensive into the hairpin, he's looking for an opportunity to overtake the karts in front of him, and I kind of follow him to make sure nobody can go around me. Tom's looking up the inside of Tim, and actually he's managed to get that inside line. Tim's given him the room, and I'm quite annoyed now that I'm one place behind him. I really want to go forward with Tom. So immediately I'm looking for a gap on Tim, and again he gives me the space, so it looks like I hopefully can stick with this pack. I want to catch back up to the rear of Tom, and we've now got Alex Vangeen as the kart ahead of us, who's going to be the next one we're going to both try and pass. So heading into turn 1, for the first time I've now actually got some space. Our lap there was a 45-second lap, not very fast at all, and you can see we're now 0.6 up already on my Delta, so you can tell how much we've been held up. Alex Vangeen overtaking George Massey in the 55 kart there, and now they're communicating. It is technically banned in this series, communicating with hands off the wheel. We're all getting used to that as a new regulation. So if you see that in this video, it's not really being penalised in this event, but it will be going forward. So we're going to try not to use too many hand signals. Right, we're now back with this pack. There is a breakaway leading group that's getting a little bit uncomfortably far away. George Massey's now defending from Tom Stalker. Alex Vangeen's the one getting the lead on our little group here. So both Tom and I want to get past George as quickly as we can. We want to tag along. It looks like Richard Melton Baxter ahead of Alex Vangeen. Tom's now really looking for a move. George makes quite a late defence, and Tom then decides to back out of it. And I really go for the only room I can, which is into the outside gap. I'm not really trying to overtake there, just trying not to be held up so much, and I don't want to be overtaken from the kart behind me. Again, Tom makes a slight error, going pretty wide on the concrete rumble strips on the exit of that double left. Again, I'm thinking there might be a weakness there I can capitalise on later in the race. And for now, again, just settling into this slipstream, need to try and find an opportunity where there's some kind of mistake from these karts in front. And there isn't one forthcoming at the moment. So pushing as hard as we can, trying not to get in too many battles that are going to lose us time. George defending. Tom knows if he doesn't defend, I'm going to look in that gap on the inside. And it looks like we're all closing back up to the rear of Alex Vangeen there as he fights with Richard Melton Baxter. You can see Alex going down the inside, or looking at least into the double left-hander. Tom Stalker doing a similar thing, and again running slightly wide of the apex in the second of the two left-handers. So coming into the final corner here onto this next lap, we're really in a little pack of 5 karts, and Tom goes for a gap up the inside, gets a little bit balked by George defending, and that gives me the run around the outside. So finally, I've managed to make up that position. It's taken a while, it's frustrating, but it's really going to be a case of moving up one by one in this event today. People are just too fast, too good to make easier moves than that. So this time I'm not really close enough to George, and he very wisely doesn't defend fresh air, so he pretty much keeps on the racing line. I've now got someone else to try and work on, and it's difficult to lunge into a gap when the kart you're behind is pressed up against karts in front of them. If I go for a lunge, I could end up hitting those karts in front, so I'm looking for something to happen, some kind of error, a battle in front, anything that gives us an opportunity to get around that kart ahead of us, and at the moment that's George Massey. And if we skip ahead one lap, that's about to happen. Alex Vangeen in the blue suit ahead of us has a chain fall off heading onto the main straight, and that obviously slows George down and gives me the chance to get 2 positions, and now it's Richard Melton Baxter next up. So we've skipped ahead another 3 laps because I've just spent all that time desperately trying to get past Richard, and he's been defending excellently. There just has not been any space at all. But this time around, I do get a run on him heading down to the hairpin. He goes defensive initially and then moves back to the racing line, giving me a nice clear gap down the inside. And now all I need to do is slot into that gap and stay tight to the inside, but Rich doesn't actually see me. You can see he comes back across to the apex and we make contact. And at the time, for around 5 seconds, I'm not very happy about that. I thought I'd made a really clear move. So I have a kind of little sarcastic laugh, shake my head a bit, but after the race, me and Rich hugged it out. He came up to me and said he didn't see me, and so no hard feelings, all good. And to be honest, that's it for this race. So we crossed the line in 4th place, quite a nice climb up from 11th, good points in the bag, and I'm really happy with that result because that could have been a heck of a lot worse. And out front we had Jacob Sharrock, followed by Tom Angier, and then Russell Endine in 3rd.
So I realised as soon as I took my hands off the wheel, I was like, I wasn't supposed to make any signal, I'm sorry.
I didn't think you were coming.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So heat 1 done, sun's come out now, P11 start, P4 finish, happy with that to begin with, starting 2 places higher in the next one. See you there.
Okay, heat number 2, again surrounded by really fast people. We've got a kart I built just here, on the left here with Charlie Furman. Russell Ending, who came 3rd in the first race. Alex, who was running up the front until his chain came off, which is now sorted out. Jacob Sharrock directly in front, he won the last race. Johnny Elliott's on pole, so he's been struggling with straight line speed, but you cannot discount Johnny. Quite a lot of really, really fast people. Directly behind me, we've got Tom Angier, and then behind him we have Tom Stalker. So lots and lots of quick people all around. Wish me luck, guys.
So on to heat 2, this time at the start, I spot Alex Vangeen in the blue moving across into the right-hand lane before the lights go green. Now, I didn't remember raising a hand, but clearly noticed something was wrong at the time and subconsciously raised my hand. So again, if we want to avoid any penalties, I've got to force myself to not let go of the steering wheel. So talking about the race itself, pretty good start. I'm on the inside, everything's going quite well. We're just following Jacob Sharrock, and we've got Russell Endine there on the left, although Jacob has managed to break away. And because I back off slightly to avoid Russell, Tom Angier has now come through the gap, so we have an extra car in front of us. Although I do have the inside line. Can I manage to stay alongside him? No. I've lost a place. This isn't going brilliantly well. One of the drivers I've highlighted as being a real threat in this race has managed to get through, although he's doing some massive wheel banging with Russell Endine, really forcing his way through. So at least that's helped us get 1 position back. We're on the inside, we've got the high ground for the first corner. This is actually looking slightly better. Don't really want Jacob Sharrock to get away from us at this point. And now we've got Russell back up our inside. So unfortunately, Tom Angier is pulling away. I'm going to have to defend from Russell and potentially lose the karts in front that I'm desperate to catch up with. But fortunately for me, they are actually battling, so we might be able to close back up. We just need to try and keep moving forward. This series is all about just scoring as many points as you can in every single race. The heats count for a lot of points, and I really want to win this championship, so every single position we can make up is going to count at the end of the season. So next up, it's Sebastian Musica. Need to try and line him up for a move. We've caught him up, so that suggests we're probably quicker, but it's just going to be a case of where he makes a mistake, or if he makes a mistake, and can we get through. And into turn 2, he gets sideways, and that just really opens the door, gives us a nice easy run. So I can go down the inside, and once again we're back with Tom Angier, and we're going to try and move forward together. Number 14 there, making good progress. And skipping forward a lap, that kart makes a move on George Massey. George does a half defend, but not early enough and not far enough to the right, so that's let Angier get through. So it's time to work on George, and his defending has been brilliant all day, and he's going to do more of the same here. He's really trying to block off the inside, and in fact, he actually makes a move on Tom Angier. It's a good move, but the problem for him is he can't get back across to the left. He didn't make the move stick, and that just gave me the run around his outside, which was then the inside for this double left-hander, and that's another place gain for me. So we're back with Tom Angier, and now we're both behind Alex Vangeen, but in front of us, Jacob Sharrock goes for the lead and makes contact with Johnny Elliott. So Johnny's off on the grass. That's another position gain for us. That came out of nowhere. Didn't really see it happen at the time. But in the ensuing melee, we've lost a bunch of time to Tom and Alex in front. But fortunately, they're going slower than our potential pace. We've closed straight back up to them, and it looks like it's Simon Fuller in the grey suit and the white helmet who's the cork in the bottle at the moment. So as we head into the closing stages of this race, we're currently in 6th position, looking to make up a couple more spots, not really sure how. As you've seen, every single move so far has been a real fight. There are no easy moves unless the kart in front makes a significant mistake. And heading into the final few laps now, Alex Vangeen takes a little bit of a look at Simon Fuller, but it's half-hearted. He gets caught up on the curb, and that gives Tom Angier a run around his outside. Now I think I've picked the correct lane here, but Alex just doesn't have the straight line speed to hold off Tom, and Tom's now escaped. He's working on Simon Fuller, and it's now down to me to try and get past Alex in the closing stages, and that is not going to be easy. So we can close back up to his rear, and we're going to go for a move on the following lap. Looks like a gap into the final corner, so I go for it. Alex gives me the room, but I just don't have the momentum coming off the corner to stay ahead. He just drags back in front of me. I'm not massively happy with my straight line speed in the whole event, but that was really because I lost the momentum coming off the last corner, so we're going to have to try again. Not very long left in this race now, and Alex knows exactly where to position his kart to stop me coming through. He gets to the right before I've got time to get into the gap. And again, we're just slowing each other down, but there's not a lot we can do about it. He doesn't want me to come through. I'm desperate to come past and just trying to find any gap I can. The only real saving grace is that Tom Angier up ahead hasn't managed to get past Simon Fuller, but imminently he's about to make an attempt. Into the final corner on the final lap, he makes a bit of a messy move past Simon, inconveniences both of them. That then slows down Alex. I almost get beached on the curb on the exit, but managed to just cross the line in 4th place.
That was an amazing race. There's Tom Stalker. He's been really quick today, so a pole for him is a good chance of getting his first ever heat win. Main threat here, we've got Tom Angier, who is just back there 1, 2, 3 places behind in the road. He's finished in front of us both times so far, so he's currently looking like he's on pole for the final. He's got drivers in front of him who he's probably been a lot quicker than this weekend so far, so I think, you know, just finishing solidly in 4th, that's going to secure him pole for the final, so he's got quite an easy race. So here we go then, let's see if we can give Tom a bit of a headache. I'm looking forward to some clear air in this race, even if that clear air is being cleared by Tom Stalker. Let's go.
So I was prepared for an exciting race, but I was not prepared for what was about to happen on the exit of the pit lane. Tom, trying to warm his tyres up, immediately lost the rear, and I crashed into him, had to take to the grass, and then really had to fight to get back to my grid position so that I could start from the front. So I was pretty keen to get past Matthew Roberts there. We've been told we weren't supposed to be weaving on the outlap anyway earlier in the day, so I just wanted to get to the front and hopefully not be knocked off by karts doing some tyre warming. Thankfully we got there, and Tom got back there too. Annoyingly though, that contact out of the pits had actually bent my steering, so had a slight track rod bend, and my kart was then pulling to the right hand side for the entire race. So not ideal, but not bad enough to really affect us in a massively negative way. So, with that little incident out of the way, and me still checking my steering, because it was pulling annoyingly to one side, I set my mind to trying to get a good start alongside Tom. Now, the tricky part here is, I don't want to jump the start and cross the start line before Tom and get a penalty. And so in this situation, the power really is with the karts on the right-hand lane. The karts with the inside line into turn 1. They get to just follow the leader, push him along even, and as expected, a kart is up my inside into the first corner. But by turn 2, I managed to get back into 2nd place, and so now everything is exactly as I wanted it to be, heading into the middle of the first lap. Now, Tom Stalker and I had discussed before the race not fighting each other too hard on the first few laps, because we really wanted to get away from the karts that were our main threats, who were a few positions back. We didn't want to give them an easy run at us by just losing time unnecessarily on those first few laps. So Tom has a slight lead at this point. I'm quite happy with that. I've got space to really push hard, and I'm going to be picking up a little bit of a slipstream from him, and as you're going to see shortly, that slipstream will help me drag back up to the back of him. And actually it's in this phase of this race that I get my fastest lap of the entire day. And since we are essentially not fighting in this phase, I'm going to skip forward a few laps to where it gets a little bit more interesting. After working together for a few laps, you join me at the point where I'm really now starting to think we're far enough into the race that I'd like to get past Tom here. He goes wide on the exit of that double left-hander. You remember he was doing that earlier in the day as well, and that just gives me the opportunity to go down his inside. And because he's very fair, he gives me the room. He knows what's going on here. He knows it's just my turn in the lead, and he's now going to work with me. Although, having said that, he was on my right-hand side there. I had literally no idea until I felt a little bit of a rub. So he obviously was getting a bit of a cutback on the exit of the last corner. Anyway, now we're going to work together again. I'm going to feel a few pushes from behind. I know that means he's happy just to push me along. We're going to try not to lose the gap to the carts behind. However, as you saw there from my little glance behind, Tom Angier is bearing down on us. Even the small amount of time we lost from my overtake on the previous lap has managed to bring Tom Angier and the carts behind him back into contention. So it's head down, trying to push hard, trying not to defend if I absolutely don't have to, and just try to maintain the remaining gap we have to those carts behind. And fortunately, that's exactly what we did. So I took my only heat win of the day, and that gave me enough points to take second on the grid for the grand final.
That was really good, man. I was always trying to gauge the gap to those guys.
Literally 165 on the nose.
Good. No, it's 165.0.
On the nose. We've had some really good clean racing, some close racing. The final is going to be incredible. I just need to get through turn 1 on the outside with all the fast people right behind me without going down to last place. So let's just have it. Let's just go have a great race. I hope you enjoy the footage, and I'll see you on the other side.
This grid looks ridiculously good. They're going to have to do an A and B. Yeah. We could have 30 at Llandow. It could be that big. Yeah, I reckon so. Good luck, man. You've got the pace to go walk it. I'm going to be hung out to dry at turn 1. That's my only thing. So it might be a bit of a fight back for me.
So on to the final, and quite a few things happen in this race. Most of them pretty unexpected. The first thing though, I think we were expecting. I'm in the outside lane, and the pace is really dictated by the leader. So I try and get the best start possible. But really, it's the drivers in the right lane, Tom Angier in the lead and Matthew Roberts in second, who get through turn 1 in the top 2 positions. And Matt turns around, asks me to work with him, and I've got such a good run, there's just no way that can happen. I go straight past him and set my sights on Tom. So we're going to spend the rest of the first lap trying to close back up to Tom, hoping he can't just pull away in clear air, and that the slipstream is going to be powerful enough to stay in touch. As it turns out, it is. Also, Tom makes a couple of little errors. He runs wide of some of the apexes on this next half a lap, and that just keeps me in contention to try and get a run on him into one of the overtaking spots. And in this instance, it's actually the hairpin, turn 3. So you see Tom goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1, has to go defensive, then misses the apex at turn 2 as a consequence, looks to defend, but still leaves enough of a gap for me to dive through, and I was side by side by the time we got to the apex, so straight on through. And from that moment onwards, I'm just looking forwards. It's actually Matthew Roberts who's on my right-hand side here. Matt's the one who's looking to try and get the lead. Looks like Tom Angier's been a bit too inconvenienced by being overtaken on the inside and having to run around the outside. And now, as I glance back, you can see there's a whole queue of carts lining up to try and overtake me and get the lead for themselves. It's going to be my job just to try and keep them behind. First point of order is just to defend and hope that they all attack each other. And that will hopefully give me a bit of a gap. And actually that's exactly what happens. The next time I have a check behind on the back straight here, I'm about to find out that all my wishes have come true, they have been fighting, and suddenly there's a massive gap to second place. And second place just happens to be Jacob Sharrock. But I'm pretty happy with this. A big comfortable lead in the final, wasn't expecting to be here, and the cart that's in second place is too far back to get a slipstream from me. So that's all rosy until we see this accident. On the right hand side, a huge crash that's actually done some serious damage to some of the carts. And instead of putting out a red flag, there is a very unusual flag shown to us. That's the yellow and black Battenberg, which is essentially the safety car flag in karting. Now, in all my 30 years of racing, I have never ever seen that flag before, but it was pretty obvious what that was for, considering there was a big crash at the side of the track. So I slowed down, checked why my legs were getting soaking wet with fuel. It was a cross-threaded fuel cap. A little bit worried about coming in underweight because we were losing fuel. but thankfully that wasn't the case, and only a little bit was leaking out. But for the next couple of laps, we just had to drive around at a safe speed with the pack formed up behind me until eventually I was shown the green flag and I could put my foot down and try to hang on for the final couple of laps to see if I could take an unexpected win. Now, I had Jacob Sharrock directly behind me at this point, and so the only thing I could do was move to the inside and defend, and you're going to see him appear alongside me on a couple of occasions on these final few laps, and I'm just doing everything in my power at the moment to try and keep the high ground, keep my kart on the inside, and not disadvantage myself so much that he goes around my outside. Now, there's only really a couple of key overtaking places on this circuit, and one of them is on the inside to the final corner here, so I position my kart somewhere in the middle just to try and dissuade him from looking down the inside. The other point is into the first corner if someone gets a run, so I just stay tight to the right until the last moment where I just give myself enough space to take a decent amount of speed into turn 1. And then really the other main overtaking spot is into this next hairpin, as you've seen throughout the video, so I stay tight to the inside to really force him around the outside if he's going to try and make a move, and in all honesty that's pretty impossible. So just sticking to the inside at the moment. I've done nothing wrong and I'm pretty happy with this. Looks like we're about to bring the win home. There's only one more lap after this. All I have to do to keep this win is keep Jacob behind me into this final corner. I didn't think he'd go for the move. He'd been penalised for a similar move earlier in the day, and I really just thought he might think twice about going for it. But to his credit, he just took the gap that I gave him, and the contact that happened afterwards was a relatively minor and, in my view, acceptable contact from a late move going on to the final lap, and I would have done exactly the same thing in his position. Having said that, I had noticed it looked like he was trying to let me back through at this point, and I hadn't quite made up my mind whether I was going to accept his kind invitation. So I did my best to get immediately back past Tom Stalker, which happened into the hairpin as you've just seen, and I wanted to get as close to Jacob as possible so that if he did let me through, I could drive back past. But by the time we got to the finish line, I'd made up my mind. I think the move was fair, and I don't want someone to gift me a win when they've made a fair move just because they were paranoid from an earlier penalty.
The move was good. It was good. It was me. It was me. It wasn't you. It was me. I left the door open to Sharrock. Didn't think he'd go for it. Yeah, so the one time I left the door open into the last corner, he took it. He thought he was going to get a penalty. I think it was fair. The racing in this championship is about being fair. And I thought the move was good. I thought it was my fault. I was only angry momentarily because I thought I was about to lose 4 places. Jacob did a good job, so I'm happy with that. I wanted top 3. I tried to let you through. No, I knew you were trying to let me through, but I thought the move was fair, so I didn't want you to let me through. Right, so.
Final just finished. What a final. Hope you enjoyed that. That was exciting. Lots happened. I'm really happy. I wanted a top 3. Second place. Jacob, although he will be a championship rival, he's not up there in the points just yet, and I think on balance I think I scored more points than him through the day today, so still extended the championship lead, and it was just great racing. It wasn't a great race for some other people. That shows you some damage that's happened to some people like Russell. That is not supposed to look like that.
And used to have that on it. Yeah, a bit of a problem, but exhaust cover's missing as well. Ooh. Bent bumper, bent steering column. Definitely a few things to check out.
And that's why you saw the safety car, period. So anyway, exciting all round. We're going to pack up some stuff, but see you after the pack up and the trophies.
Hello. That's got to be a tit.
Your first podium.
Yeah, boy.
Well done.
Is it your first podium?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
First time.
Okay. What happened to your top 3 you were going to get this weekend, Alex?
A chain fell off and a technical infringement. But I went from 15th to 7th, so yeah. And I beat Johnny and I overtook you, so.
You overtook me in the warm-up.
Shut up! Hey! Go on, Tom.
Second place, your championship leader, Brad Philpot.
Hey!
First win in the UK, Jacob Sherrock.
Hey! Thank you.
Right, so that's it. See you guys at Llandow. End of the video. That was an exciting set of races. Loved it. We've got to pack the van and drive 3 hours south. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. You can subscribe to Alex's channel too. Alex has got a video about this weekend too.
Hi. Mine's a bit more about learning. Alex Vangeen. Just Google Alex Vangeen. You'll find me.
Okay, cool. Right. See you at Llandow. Love you. Bye. We're in the park Philpot. My cart's over there. Basically, we don't know what's going on. And at the moment, we've got no idea whether we're going to be able to keep our results or not. I'm going to update you once we know whether or not we're disqualified. So it's 6:40 AM on Friday. It is Friday, right?
It is Friday.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking there were work people in there. Why are people working on Saturday on Friday?
So we're on our way to Llandow in Wales. This is round 4 of the GX UK Championship. We're over the halfway point. This is where it gets serious. I'm going to explain to you a little bit of the background about what's happened so far when we get to the track. But today we're just going to arrive, set all of our gear up. Alex is going to try and do some testing this afternoon because he's never driven the track before. But I'm just going to basically chill out, enjoy the day in Wales, and then it gets serious tomorrow. So we're here, we've set up. I've got some work to do on my car, just get the engine on, that kind of thing. But look, we've got a camp and we're right in the middle of the best spectator area on the whole track. We've got the first corner behind us and we've got a really interesting couple of sweeping corners over in this direction. So since the last race, I've had my engine rebuilt. It really needed it because it was not very fast. So Super Paul Mullen down here, as you can see, he's named, is going to go on the car. So I'm going to run him in tomorrow and then he will be ready for the race on Sunday. So that's my next job. So I'm basically done now for my day. Everything's set up, engine's had an initial little run in on the stand, changed the oil, really ready to do some practice tomorrow. Let's go help Alex to see how he's getting on learning the circuit. It's Friday evening, our carts are all put to bed in the morning. Paul's cart from the last video that you will have seen. So yeah, let's go for a little walk before we go back to our hotel.
It's on low battery, so it don't go that quick.
Can I be a real geek and have a go too? Come on.
He's probably going to break it. Oh my god! He's going to break the bike!
Stop twisting the front.
Oh my god! That's it! Give it back!
Give it back to him.
Give it back!
That's enough.
Whoops!
Did you break it? You were on the throttle!
I couldn't take it off because
That was all on video!
Whoopsie! Oh. It moved away from me and it just went. I'm on it here.
Yeah, here. I'm hooking here.
You've got to hook here.
Inside wheel over the inside here.
You have a bit of a lift, not a whole lift. Because if you have a whole lift, the rear goes.
This guy is a.
Alex got really annoyed that my alarm wakes you up.
No.
Yeah, we've already shut up about it for like 10 minutes.
What you do?
I'm just trying to get as much footage as I can.
It does this shit early in the morning. It's like...
Alex filming his vlog. It's going to get like 6 views if I watch it 5 times. Yeah, there's the track. It's quite dry. No, some people do watch it. If you're watching this video, click the link in the description below because Alex Vangeen's version of this weekend is going to be there.
Views did last time.
Yeah. Did you actually have a couple of thousand views?
I think so.
That's because all the people watching this video are kind and they go and charitably watch Alex Vangeen. What's your channel called?
Alex Vangeen Racing.
Alex Vangeen Racing. There we go. Go check that out. Alright, anyway, on to the important stuff. Time for practice number 1. You're about to see that footage. Hopefully the nice, freshly rebuilt engine is good. I'm going to be running it in most of the day. See you after practice.
Thanks, man.
Middle of the day on the practice day update. We've had 3 practice sessions. You saw the first one went a little bit wrong. That was simply a little bit of dirt in the carburettor, so we cleaned that out. Now the kart's fine. In fact, the engine went brilliantly after that. This afternoon is just about finishing running in this engine, making sure I'm fully happy with the kart for tomorrow. Actually, maybe running in some traffic. I need to have some practice overtaking people around here. There's going to be a lot of that tomorrow. Paul, how was your first official GX UK day?
Yeah, it was really fun. I was quick, is the nice thing. I overtook a bunch of people.
So there's Jacob Sharrock and Matthew Roberts out there searching for their lost pace. It's like somewhere behind that tyre barrier.
Yeah, if you can lay down as if it's like you're like rolling out. I think that Homer Simpson does that. He used to push people over the bin. I was a fan of terrible.
Let's go do some racing. This is how I like to start my morning, with Russell's bum.
Oh yeah. There'd be so much more footage if everyone didn't keep saying stuff about each other's mums.
Well, if your mum would leave me alone, I'd have less to say.
She's going to watch this. First race coming up, starting 12th for this one. Target for this one is podium. In fact, target for all 3 heats is podium, regardless of where we start. Wish me luck, here's how it went. So we're starting down in 12th position for this one, and we're behind George Massey. It's obviously going to be a little bit crowded into the first couple of corners, so this is just a case of trying to pick our way through, try to be clean. I need to finish every race because it's just so important to pick up the points. You score 0 points if you get a DNF in any of these races. So I'm slotting in behind George. We've got new driver to the series, Connor Botting, just ahead of us. And as the field sweeps through the spoon corner, everyone's just starting to string out slightly, and I really don't want the leaders to get away from us. So my aim is to try and get past this next group of karts as quickly as possible. But then Sebastian Musica has an accident with Connor Botting. No idea whose fault that was, but that removes them from the picture, and now it's me right up behind George Massey. So I'm going to try and get him as quickly as I can. I'm trying to get a run on him down the straight, but I just can't, even with the slipstream, can't really close in on there. So let's have a look at what's going on with Paul. So my brother Paul in the first corner here manages to make up a few spaces. He's really fighting for the novice trophy today, so he needs to beat anyone with a black number plate. Looks like that started off well for him. So now back onto George. I'm going to go down his inside into the second chicane, use lots of curb just to try and give him some room, and that worked out well. So next up, the next group of karts, which begins with Tom Purchase, who immediately defends, which is exactly what I'd expect from Tom. So I'm going to try and get him on a cutback. And then next up is Richard Melton Baxter. So he's the kart up ahead. He started on pole position. We've got quite a significant gap to him right now, so we're going to have to try and close that down as quickly as possible. Need to be as clean as possible into this second chicane. Richard's run slightly wide, so that's helped me out a lot. That's actually put me into a slipstream down the back straight, and I think we can get a bit of a tow and just drive down the inside into the hairpin. So nice, easy overtaking opportunity. Next up, the top 3. So we're up to 4th position now as we cross the start line, heading onto the following lap. And I've got a bit of a gap to try and close down. So let's just fast forward to the point where I'm back on the tail of 3rd place. This is Ethan Hall. He's looking at me, he knows I'm here. And again, same move as we did with Richard Melton Baxter. Just a simple overtake down the inside into the hairpin. Nothing fancy so far, but now we've got the 2 young hotshots. These 2 lads are nearly 20 years my junior. We've got first up Matthew Roberts and then Jacob Sharrock, who won the last round at Hooton Park. Need to try and get past these guys to score the big points, because these are going to be the rivals in the final. So Matt goes to the left, opens the door for me into the spoon. Nice simple move. One of the best overtaking spots on this whole track, and you're going to see quite a few moves into there through the rest of this video. And now I need to try and drag up to the back of Jacob. So Jacob looks pretty good here, no major mistakes as you'd expect. So I'm going to need to really make up some ground on the brakes, being accurate over the curbs, and then hopefully tag onto his slipstream. And I think we're already just starting to pick up a slight slipstream as we go down the back straight. Oh, helped along by Matthew Roberts pushing me down the back straight. So thanks for working with me there, Matt. Now we're significantly closer to number 25, Jacob, so I'm going to just try and close again on the brakes into the bus stop chicane here. I think it's called the hook, this corner, and you can see we've just closed the gap there on the way into the apex. And again, we're slightly closer, slightly better slipstream. Not going to try anything just yet though. Jacob gets slightly sideways into the double left before the spoon, which just gives me the opportunity to go straight down the inside. I wasn't particularly close, but sometimes that works in your favour because it means you can then hang the other person out to dry a little bit on the exit. He's tucked in behind me, and now I need to try and keep him behind for the rest of this race. So, as you can imagine, the focus is now on being as clean as possible, trying not to give him any opportunity to get a run on me, just trying to drive effectively a qualifying lap, but bearing in mind I know he's right behind me. And he's got third place man Matthew Roberts to help push him up behind me. So I went a little bit defensive on that lap into the hairpin just to try and prevent them from diving down the inside, and it worked out. Unlike at the last round at Hooton Park where I let someone through right at the end of the race. Didn't happen this time.
Yeah, that was good. That's what we wanted. Good race. Couldn't really shake the guys off though. Matt and Jacob were fast. P1 from my worst start position. Happy with that. Really good points for the championship. Just increased the championship lead a little bit there. Fastest lap of the weekend there, 51.9. Happy with that.
Okay, so race 1 was exciting. 12th to 1st. It was definitely not guaranteed at any point. Ooh, why is Kai... What's happened to Kai? I did not see what happened there. Okay, so Kai was leading the cadets. I thought he had it all won. And then suddenly he's in the barriers having his cart carried across. So hopefully Kai's okay. I didn't want to film him up close because he's obviously not very happy about what just happened, but I think he had a bit of a mechanical problem, so he's got the pace that he can still win anyway. So we'll give you an update on Kai later. On to race 2, a little bit of kart prep. Just as an update on Paul's race, he won the novices I think for Heat 1, which is what his target was, and hopefully there were some exciting overtakes. I don't know just yet, but I'm sure you're watching it right now. So anyway, on to race 2, see you after that one.
This is an interesting one because we've got some of the very, very front runners all bunched up near the front. So Russell Endine over here, second quickest lap in the first race. Matt Roberts fighting for the win in the last race, came second. Jacob came third in the last race. Got Tom Angier, who was on pole at Hooton Park our last round. I'm here, Tom Stalker's here as well. Loads of the quick guys at the front. I'd rather watch this one, I think, than driving it.
Well, Tim, your wish is my command, so here we go. I'm right up behind Tim that you just saw in the video there, going into turn 1, and we managed to work together as a row on the right-hand side and pull ahead. So I've gone from 5th up to 3rd place in the first corner, so a really good start. We've got Tom Butler leading the race, and I'm going to try and make a move straight away on Tim Cantis, so I've only got one more car to deal with. So Tom Butler going nice and wide to get a good cut back into the exit of the spoon there. I'm staying slightly defensive because I don't want anyone coming past me after I've made this good progress early on. And so my next task is clearly to try and get past Tom. A small error there on cold tyres for Tom into the fast right-hander puts me completely on his tail going into the second chicane, and he's made another little error in the middle of the chicane. Clearly struggling to get some temperature in the tyres on the first lap of this race is Tom, so I'm going to go for a move down his inside. I want to get this done early doors. It'd be good to be leading at the end of the first lap. So there we go. Nice and clean, no dramas. It's good to be racing against clean drivers who don't just turn in on you. So you can see in the background there though, my rival Jacob making his way up to 4th and trying to get past Tom Angier for 3rd. And sure enough, a couple of laps later you can see here Jacob's right on my tail, and suddenly I've got a race on my hands. This was never going to be straightforward, was it? So skipping forward half a lap to the back straight, and Jacob is straight down my inside. I managed to get the cut back on him and get back in front, but this is going to be a race to the finish. So a little bit later on, I'm going to take my natural line into the spoon corner, and Jacob is straight through. So any gap you leave, he's going to be through. Luckily enough though, I managed to get the cut back. And then slightly later on again, he's down my inside going into the hairpin. And this time, he's judged it so well, he's parked it on the apex, and I'm just not able to get such a good run back at him. But it's not over yet, because I sense a slight opportunity into turn 1. Not made a move here yet today, but let's give it a try. Then you've got to go all the way around the outside of the hook corner. Didn't work, but Jacob gave me loads of room. Lovely clean racing. So let's try and get him back into the double left-hander. Constant position swapping in this race, but he's still alongside me. He's on my right-hand side. This isn't over. We've been side by side for most of this lap. And again, I'm going to try the cut back on the exit of the spoon. And this time, I think I'm just in a good enough position that he's not going to be able to come back at me. So for this lap at least, we've managed to make it stick. I go defensive into the final hairpin just to try and keep him away. And he's back ahead again. He's managed to get the advantage and the run down into turn 1. So absolutely making me fight for this one. I really want the win. It'd be lovely to take a second win of the day. I've only had 4 wins in the entire season until today. So let's see if we can get it. Not over yet as we go into the double left-hander. So the typical overtaking point is on the right into the spoon here. I decide against it this time because Jacob's positioned his car in a way that just lets me know that he doesn't want me coming through there. And again, very defensive into the flat-out right-hander that leads onto the back straight. So there's not really an opportunity into the second chicane here. You can't really go down people's insides there. Have tried it, and you have to be fully alongside by the time you arrive there. So now maybe it's going to be about getting a run down this final straight before the hairpin at the end of the lap. But he's got a little bit of a gap on me. There's absolutely no way I can outbrake him into there, but I can close up on the brakes. So that's going to really benefit me through the rest of the day, being slightly better than some people on the brakes into the tight corners. And obviously Jacob's playing it safe there and trying not to make any mistakes because he knows he's got the high ground, he's got the track position. So where can we make this move? It's not going to be into the double left, just not close enough. He gets slightly sideways there through the double left though, and that gives me the opportunity. This time we were close enough just to dart to the inside. And I think at this point, I'm not going to let him back through. As we come to the finish line, I've made it stick on the final lap, but look how close it was. Jacob and Matt directly behind me again. This thing's going to go down to the wire.
That was a good race. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Jacob and Matt are super clean drivers when we're in fights like that.
That was unreal.
What I liked was that the three of us, I think we managed to go far enough without fighting that we could then actually have a fight.
I was trying to work with you because I could see him coming.
That was how it should be. This was really, really cool. I couldn't get away from the guys behind. Jacob and Matt just fought so cleanly. The side-by-side into turn 1 and 2, just mega. Super mega. Thanks for watching so far. Paul had a bad race that time. He had a drop-down nose, so his bumper was flapping around. Join us shortly for race 3. So here we are again then, the beginning of the third heat, this time starting in 11th position directly behind Russell Endine. So Russell's been one of the fastest drivers all weekend. So he's quite a good benchmark to work with and move forward through the pack together with, but he's had a little bit of argy-bargy there with Tom Stalker. That's actually let us through, so my next target is Tom Stalker. Haven't had many battles with him today so far, and that's unusual. I'm normally around the same piece of track as Tom, and now Russell's back up my inside, trying to make that move into the spoon. I've got just enough of a run to keep him behind at the moment. So we're going to try and use the slipstream here down the back straight to close up to Tom, and we have really, through the middle of that corner, we've got a really good run. I'm not really close enough to go for this, so I attempted it. I tried to use loads of curb. We make slight contact, but both of us come off absolutely fine. But on the exit of that second chicane, I do now get a run on Tom. I've got just enough of an overlap that he can't close the door because he'd spin himself out, and that lets me go down his inside. But that also lets Russell Endine go around my outside. He obviously set that up brilliantly. Love to have seen that from his view. Must have seen it unfolding in front of him. So we've gained a place, lost a place, and we've definitely lost some time to the pack ahead, and that's really the important thing. If we want to score the big points, we need to get up to that leading trio who are now somewhere in the distance. So the first thing I need to do is get back past Russell, and right now I'm just not close enough. So let's work with him to try and close up to the back of Tom Purchase, who's the next kart in the row. You see me looking at each corner of my car, and that's because after the contact with Tom Stalker, I felt the kart was just a bit strange. It felt like the steering was slightly off centre, and actually when I checked it on the lasers later on, that was true. I just bent the front left slightly, so we had to repair that after this race. But for now, I need to work with Russell, and I don't want to race him, I want to push him forward. I want us both to close up to the pack in front. There's absolutely no need to waste time battling with Russell when we could be moving forward together. So, on to the next lap, and the pack are slightly closer at this point, so we need to be clean through these chicanes. I need to stay close enough to Russell to benefit from his slipstream, but not so close that I bump into him and lose myself time. And now, within a lap, we are right on the tail of this next group. There's 2 groups ahead of us. There's the top 3, and then there's the next 3. So Russell and I are going to try and get past Tom Purchase together. That red kart there, number 66, that's Tom. So next up, it's the new driver to the series who had that incident in the first race with Sebastian Musica. It's Connor Botting, so Russell has to deal with him first. Let's see what he does. I've got a nice little bit of space into the chicane here, so I can actually really stretch my legs, use my correct line, and now we're back on the slipstream of Russell. See if we can help push him through on Connor. In fact, I don't even need to really. Russell's already got the run, but what I can do is close up to his tail so Connor can't get back across and get in between us. So again, working together, Russell and I have made up another position. But it looks at this point like the pack in front are a little bit too far ahead. Don't know whether we're going to be able to catch up with them. It was Alex Vangeen who started on pole for this one, so I really want to get past Russell as soon as I can now. In racing terms, I feel like he's served his purpose for me. I just want to get past him and work on the next 3 on my own. So past I go down the inside into the spoon, and I can see the 3 in front are now fighting. One of them's on the grass. I think that was George Massey. So that means we've got a real opportunity to close up to them. And fast forwarding 1 lap, I'm right on the tail of 3rd place, which at this point is Alex Vangeen. So he's managed to stay in touch with those 2 ahead, but he definitely makes a mistake there in the chicane, and that gives me a run down his inside onto that long back straight. And then up ahead, we've got Tom Angier leading the race, George Massey in second. George is having a great weekend, so I managed to slip down the inside of Alex, and then Alex is going to try and come back at me. Is it over? Normally at this point I'd be ahead, but you can see the blue and red kart of Alex manages just to drag back alongside me at the end of the straight. So one of the beauties of this circuit is that you can overtake in so many different places. By overtaking someone, you then compromise somewhere else. But now we're back on the inside of Alex Vangeen. We managed to get past him into the double left. That does tend to disadvantage the kart being overtaken quite significantly, so he can't come back at me there. And 1 lap later, we're in the lead fight. And it's still Tom Angier leading, with George Massey up the inside. But by trying to attack Tom, George then opens the door for me to go down the inside of both of them, but it's not over. They're both coming back past me on my right-hand side into the flat-out right. Nothing I can do, and this time it's George Massey in the lead of this race. So we'll have to try again somewhere else. Have to sit behind these guys into the second chicane here. Absolutely no way through on this lap. And let's see if we can get a run on either of these 2 down the long back straight. They've both got strong equipment, they're strong drivers. You can see I'm not able to close up down the straight, really just a little bit of slipstream. What I can do is open the corner up and dive down the inside of Tom, because he was trying to defend and also obviously trying to attack George. That gave me that opportunity. So now just 1 kart remaining, 11th up to 2nd, and this time it's quite a straightforward move up the inside. I managed to just get a cut back on George on the exit of the second chicane. I've got enough of an overlap that he can't turn across, keeping it simple into the last corner, really trying to use as much exit as possible so I get a good run across the finish line. And there we go, another win in the books.
Good race, man. You nearly got me on the last corner. There's a bit of a pattern here to the winner's enclosure. We've got a bit of a Tony Kart theme going on.
And so the grid for the final is me, him, him. There we go. That's it. You can watch it now. It's going to happen now.
What a grid! Yeah, so we've got less laps to work together now. Still got like 3 or 4 or 5 laps that we don't have to fight. If we can avoid it for a couple of laps, it'll be good. Let's have fun. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video so far, guys. Thank you so much for watching this far. So let's hope for a good race. Let's have some battles with Jacob and Russell and Matt. Or even better, let's have no battles. That would be great.
Here we are then, the final, starting on pole. It's the first time I've begun at the front of the field all day, so this is nice. And just look at that pack of karts. Almost 30 karts in the first season of this series. And I just want to work with Jacob and Matt to pull away from all of them. So no racing on the first couple of laps. But those kind of plans don't last very long, and Matt and Jacob are working together to get past me. Fortunately for me, Matt doesn't make it through. And at this point, all I'm thinking is, I want to fight against 1 person, not 2. So I now decide to break Jacob away from Matt. I don't want them working together. So for the next few laps, I'm going to make it extremely clear to Jacob that I am not going to attempt an overtake. I'm just going to push him down the straights, sit behind him through the corners, and try and drive as fast as possible to build a gap to Matt, who's in 3rd place. And that's what you're going to see now. Jacob knows that's what's happening. He gives me a little thumbs up, and I'm just going to follow him and push him at any opportunity to just try and build that gap. 2 karts working together are always quicker than 1 going it alone, so I can use his slipstream down the straights and just edge him away bit by bit, and hopefully at the end of the race I can then try and attack him without the threat of Matt overtaking me. I'd much rather the worst position I could finish is 2nd rather than 3rd, 4th or 5th. And the threat's very real. You've already seen in the heat that the moment people start attacking each other, they lose massive amounts of ground. And you can see in this shot just how much we've pulled away by working together in that lap and a half or so. But although I'm sitting behind and not attacking Jacob, I'm not being entirely passive. I'm trying to figure out exactly where he's strongest, where he's slightly weaker, and where there's anywhere on the track that he might make a small error that would give me an opportunity later in the race. And what you saw in that previous sequence of corners is he is struggling with oversteer on the way into and through the medium and high speed corners. And that's really where I make up most ground. My kart seems so stable by comparison. When you watch my steering inputs into the double left-hander or into the spoon corner, I never have to make a correction, whereas Jacob has quite significant amounts of opposite lock-on. And that's really on this lap why I've closed back up to him despite having a metre or so gap at the beginning of the lap. So onto another one, same process, Not going to try anything strange at this point. I really want him to build trust in me that I'm not going to go for any moves, and that'll mean he'll take more and more of a natural line, which will make us both faster, but it'll also mean that there will be an opportunity for a gap down the inside when I want to make a move. So skipping towards the very end of the race now, just a couple of laps to go, I'm sensing that the opportunities are going to be slipping away unless I really go for something soon. So it's up to me now to put myself in a position where I can attack Jacob nice and decisively at some point in the next lap or so. I really don't want to let this wing go, and I felt fast all weekend, so I think I've got the pace to do it. All I need to do is make sure I position my kart to get past him somewhere in the next couple of minutes. But he knows what's coming, and he's looking behind. He thought about being defensive, but decided it really wasn't worth it into the hairpin on that lap, and he was right. I wasn't going for the move that time, but now you can see I really have him in my sights. I'm right up behind. I want to make sure there's as little gap as possible so that any opportunity I sense, I can go for it. And with a little dummy to the right, this is where I go. I go down the inside into the double left. Not the most common overtaking opportunity here, but what it does is really disadvantage that kart you've overtaken. It makes it harder for them to come back at you into the spoon exit, and that's what happens. There's no overlap for Jacob into here. Now I just want to get away. I just want to escape. Really clean final lap to the finish. And as we go down towards the second chicane on the final lap, he's got a slight gap to me. But actually I'm slightly too cautious in the middle of the chicane. He taps my rear, and you can see I go wider there on the exit than normal before immediately pulling to the right. But what that's done is it's given me a little bit of a gap to him, so he's not close enough to dive bomb into the final hairpin. That's why I don't defend. I just carry as much speed as possible to make sure there's no run for him to the line, and that's the win.
Yes! 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 Happy with that. Let's just get this last bit done. I've massively overfueled, so it should be fine on the way there.
When you get time, emulsion tube and jet. You need to get your jet out and your emulsion tube.
So we're being scrutineered here. Wait, did you win? No? I was winning, and I was second, winning second. Oh, well done anyway, dude. Apparently I've got to take an emulsion tube out.
We're in the park perfectly. My kart's over there. Basically, we don't know what's going on. And at the moment, we've got no idea whether we're going to be able to keep our results or not. I'm going to update you once we know whether or not we're disqualified. What a palaver! Some confusion over engine race. Obviously, none of us build our own engines. They're sealed, so we buy an engine and we buy it to a certain set of regulations. We're all kind of noobs, so we didn't even really know how to take the jets out. First of all, I thought that I was in some trouble, but then it turned out everyone who was getting checked had stuff wrong. So, and then they found that it was, I think it was the wrong regs were printed out or something like that. So everything's fine. But yeah, a little minor scare. So we'll head back to the awning, begin our pack down, and next up is trophies.
Kai, how was your day?
I won. Weekend was over. Then I started 7th and final shot to 6 minutes. And oh my word, that was like the longest and hardest 6 minutes of my life.
Right, go follow Kai's YouTube channel, which is called
Kai Racing.
Oh, matey! Check his engine though.
Adding to Pigeon O-Plate, Philpot.
You've done me all weekend. How did your day end?
I finished P7, which to be fair, I'm happy with because everyone who finished ahead of me was that little bit quicker. So I'm happy with the day. Some good fighting with some good mates. Fighting's fun, yeah.
We're here at the beautiful Clay Pigeon Raceway for round 5 of GX UK. You know the story so far. We've had a very successful season with some strong results and some missed opportunities, but this weekend is the first time that we could clinch the championship. The way the point structure works is you can take 20 points for a heat win. The final's worth double that. with 40 points for the win. There's 100 points up for grabs and I need to take 68 of those. But we all know it's not necessarily that easy. Things can go wrong in a heartbeat. A chain can fall off the cart, I could be involved in a big accident like we saw earlier in the season at Hooton Park, or any number of things could go wrong with the cart, which is why I've meticulously prepared it as always, and hopefully all I need to do is bring it home and score some strong results. But that's not the only storyline this weekend. Joining us as a guest driver is Callum McIntyre. You might know him from some successful YouTube channels such as Driver 61 and Overdrive, and you'll normally find him racing lawnmowers. But this weekend he's sampling a GX UK kart for the first time after we built his kart in my garage over the last couple of weeks. So let's see how he gets on and whether or not we can take the championship crown this weekend. But first I need to learn this track, having not raced here in over a decade. Morning, Russell.
Morning.
Your kart doesn't appear to be built.
Not yet.
As usual. So Callum, about to go out for the first practice session in this kart. Hopefully we put it together properly.
Let's see how this goes. I've no idea.
I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of lap times you do. Mainly how comfortable you are after you've driven it and it's up to temperature. Let's see how that goes.
Let's go.
So here is Callum during his first practice session, and he was very impressive. As you can see, holding his own, just a small mistake on this run letting me through, but a really good performance. How's the morning gone?
It was good, really happy. I think I'm doing all right. This track is really fast and the fine details really matter. So it's about figuring those things out and yeah, really fun.
I had a good morning. Basically just making sure everything's good with the car.
Considering that car only went together the other day in your garage.
See you tomorrow, I guess. The rest of today will be boring.
Use more curb. Use
Right,
the curb.
that's right. Just to get some of the main characters on camera. You didn't have a trouble-free day today, did you? You had some stuff go wrong.
Absolutely brilliant day. No engine problems or anything. I had a good day today and nothing broke.
You had an injury though, but
Oh, it hurts so much. Oh.
you managed to push through. And you fixed the engine.
I don't know.
What's your best time today?
41.6.
Vangeen's got the best.
Yeah, but it's not real. Magically 3/10 clear of the pack.
He's just quick. Let Grandad have his moment.
I've seen GPS errors like that before. It's happened to me before. So. Alex, do you remember when you booked that really awful hotel at one of the races?
It was awesome. We had a great fun time there.
When we didn't even have breakfast or
A toilet
in our room.
I remember. What's your point?
This one's nicer, isn't it?
No bad.
So, are you going to get a podium today? Don't look at the camera. Just pretend the camera's not there.
I feel like I've got the pace. I went forward like all day yesterday.
It's a beautiful morning here at Clay Pigeon. It's absolutely perfect conditions for karting, and you're shortly about to see the start of the first race. So I hope it's a good one, and I'll talk to you afterwards. Remember, I need to score 68 points over the course of the day to guarantee the title today. So here we go. Right, here we go then, race one. Fast people everywhere. This isn't like it used to be where the field was slightly sparse. There's just quick people throughout the field. And this is our highest grid start. So this is the one we need a really strong position. Also, in our story, Alex Vangeen and Callum McIntyre there on the second and first row respectively. We're going to see how that unfolds in front of us, but hopefully for not too long. Starting on the outside, not the place we want to be. Look at this grid. Bonkers. Here we go then, start of the first heat, and unfortunately we're on the outside and we really don't want to be in this position. It's quite a big disadvantage. I'm going to try and get to the inside as early as possible, but as you can see here there just really isn't a gap, so I'm going to just go around the outside of the first couple of corners and actually slot in behind these guys through the chicane. And on my right hand side I've got Jacob Sharrock. There is no way across to the right currently, so we're going to try and work the left lane. I'll go around the outside. Callum's being muscled wide there by Ash Candola, and here I was able to slip up the inside of Jacob and make the apex of this double left-hander in third position. So happy with that, and now just two karts in front that we need to work on. We need to try and draw them in, but they've got a significant gap, and both of the guys up front, George Massey and Alex Vangeen, are really fast. They've been quick all weekend, and you can see the gap's pretty big, and there's a big pack behind me. But a couple of laps later, in front, George and Alex begin to fight, and immediately that huge gap gets completely eradicated. This is how much time you lose when you battle. These guys have only been fighting for around about 2 or 3 corners, and straight away I've gone from being out of the hunt to right on their tail. So the only question now really is, how is this going to unfold in front of me? Who am I going to back? Who do I think has the best chance of helping me with my aims, which are to go to the front and pull away? So as we round the final corner, deep into the race at this point, we're several laps in. I've got a slipstream behind George, he's obviously also got a slipstream behind Alex, and I'm going to just tuck in behind him, looking for an opportunity. There really isn't space to go for a move here into turn 1, because I'd risk hitting the kart in front of him, and he was on a tight line anyway, so I don't think it's time just yet. We're going to follow him for another lap. Unfortunately, this does mean that the karts behind me are getting closer and closer, and are going to potentially cause me a bit of a threat, but I'm confident at this stage that I am quicker than both the guys in front, and if I can just slip through, then I'll be able to pull away once I get that opportunity. So I've made my decision now. I'm obviously going to try and push George along the main straight so that we can both get down the inside of Alex Vangeen. Essentially, I want George to open up an overtaking lane down the inside. So he's helped me by starting a move. I'm then locked onto his rear bumper to just give him a nudge past, give him a little bit of an extra speed boost, and sure enough, we're straight down the inside, nice and cleanly, and that really couldn't have gone better for me. So now I want to overtake George, and I want to do it right now. I think if he moves left, I'm going down the inside. So he does move left, I go down the inside, but we make contact, and I think we should just watch that back. So let's just rewind to the beginning of the move and see what happened. George opened the door, so I went down the inside, but he braked late enough to stay far enough ahead that I just simply didn't have enough room when he turned in towards the apex. I felt there was a little bit too much contact there. I wasn't really happy with it. George was actually okay with that when we discussed it afterwards, but I felt I misjudged it slightly, so apologies to George, and I'll try and be a bit more decisive next time. Now, for me, the rest of this race is just about keeping Jacob Sharrock behind me. He's my main rival for the title, and as you can see, he's attacking me. He's alongside at various points, and really I just defend the entire time. Unbeknownst to me though, George Massey had actually been involved in a second incident, which is what these yellow flags were for, where he and Ash Candola came together at the hairpin, and that took George out of the race. He was actually a little bit hurt from that one. So George, I hope you're feeling a bit better now, and I'll see you at the next round. And there we have it, race 1. I just managed to defend to the line. This is the final lap here, and obviously Jacob's having a good go at trying to get past me at the finish line, but not quite close enough that time. So maximum points for Heat 1.
Bit of controversial contact there with George, so George, if you're watching this, sorry about that. That's probably the worst move I made this season.
That was pretty exciting, and I made my way from 6th up to 1st and finished 1st, which was good. However, I did make probably my worst move of the championship up the inside of George Massey. Wow, championship rivals have collided in the juniors. Okay, and they're helping each other move their karts. That's nice. The M-plate and the D-plate, Ronnie and Josh have come together. But back to our race, finished 1st, and with the championship math situation, this is where we stand. We needed 68 points to guarantee the championship today. I've just scored 20 of those, and my closest rival, Jacob Sharrock, has scored 19. So he's 1 down on his potential maximum. So as it turns out, we actually only needed 67 points to guarantee the championship today, because obviously the results I need to get also rely on the results he's getting. So through the rest of the day today, I need another 47 points, and then we've got the championship. There's another 80 on offer, so let's go and try and take some of those in race 2.
Right, Jacob, I'll go with you this time. So, I mean, it's going to shake out the same as before. You'll be past me probably, and whatever happens up here, you're likely to be ahead into the chicane. You were like that before, and you went ahead. Same chat though, if you're in front, I'll help you get past on the straight, because people can't defend. If I push you past down the inside, they'll struggle to defend that. Right, race 2, very different prospect here. We're quite a long way further back, once again around some key rivals.
So into Heat 2, again we're on the outside. Someone's actually spun on the warm-up lap here, leaving a gap in front of the kart I'm behind. And I'm encouraging him to close that gap up, because the lights are just going out now, and we really don't want to leave any room ahead of us. And as it happens in the braking zone, he closes that space up. I think it's actually Callum McIntyre directly in front of him. and we're forced to go all the way around the outside of that long-term one again. This time Alex Vangeen's up our inside, along with another couple of karts coming through. But Alex gets nerfed from behind and pushed into a spin. We then take avoiding action around the outside and lose a few positions and crucially a lot of time to the karts at the front of the field. And although we've come off quite lightly from that incident, we've now got a very big task ahead of us.
I can see that one coming. Sometimes the inside isn't the best place to be, but we lost a lot of time having to avoid that, which is a bit of a shame, but at least now we can try and move forward. Got a run here on this car. Now we've got some clear air. Let's go, let's go. We wanted a top 10. See if we can make that top 5. We've got a big gap to go. Let's hope the guys at the front fight.
I was stuck outside of the top 10, and up until now my worst finish of the season was a P6. This wasn't good enough. We were looking for good finishing positions today to really secure this championship, so there was clearly some more work to do.
Let's go. Tyres gradually coming up to temperature now. Not quite close enough. Not quite. Oh, that's a shame we've lost some time there.
As we saw in the first race, any small battles lose you time, so I knew I couldn't waste a moment trying to get past Tim.
Okay, next car. Let's go.
But he defended well into the first right-hander, and then hung on brilliantly around the outside. So by the time we were onto the back straight, the move still wasn't done.
Just. Next.
And then I found myself behind a very close battle.
Okay, Callum's in this one. We've got a yellow flag here.
When I saw these three karts fighting in front, I was slightly worried. Three karts nose to tail is a tricky situation. It means it's difficult to find a space to move into when you make an out-braking manoeuvre.
Okay, we've got a few quick drivers in this next group. Let's see what we can do. Callum defending well there. It's going to be hard to get past these guys because they're all nose to tail. Much, much harder, especially with a yellow flag in the middle sector. They need to pull that out. Is it still yellow as we get here? It is. We can't go for the move. It's going to lose us some time. Let's back off. Get on the power early. They're making contact in the yellow flag zone. Okay, not made a move through there before. Let's go. Next. And now we've got Callum to go. Is it still yellow here? No. So we're going to go. Right, now we've got the big pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I think we're inside the top 10. Let's go. Big, big gap to try and close down now though. Really big. With no slipstream.
It really did look like an impossible task to close down that gap in front, especially with less than half of the race remaining. But I tried my hardest and I dragged the rest of the pack with me.
Let's go. This might be the max we can do in this race. We're losing quite a few potential points here. The race isn't really long enough for us to catch this next pack. So let's see. Blue flag, that's unusual. This must be a car that's recovering from an accident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we're in 9th position. So this big gap obviously came because of Alex Vangeen's incident on the first lap. I can see behind us Jacob Sharrock is coming back through well. Caught a little glimpse of that neon orange coming through the middle section there. So he's making a good recovery. we're having to work on our own, no slipstream. Try and move forward. So this next one is not for position. Let's hope he moves out of the way, because the guys for the lead are fighting in a massive battle. Lost a bit of time. There's Luke Chard Maple out. Maybe a chain fell off from some contact. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're in 7th place. 7th position. Let's keep going. How long left? One more lap. Can we do anything? It's Sebastian Musica in front of us. He's going to be a tough cookie. They're going to have to fight a lot. He went really wide that time, Sebastian. Let's see what we can do. I don't think there's time. I don't think there's time, but we'll try. And the lap time's not going to be great because we were in clean air all the time. Oh, there might be one more lap. And that's my fastest lap of the weekend. It's not over. It's not over. What's going to happen here? Let's keep it clean. Oh, it's just tantalisingly close now, these guys. It's not close enough unless something crazy happens here between these two. I think it might have done. Oh, we're going to have to try and slipstream to the line. But Sebastian's got a good engine and he's got a slipstream. We're not quite close enough. But a good race. Good race from those guys. Good points for us. And crucially, our two main championship rivals finished behind again.
So that was Heat 2. You know what happened, so I don't need to tell you, but you might want to know about the championship maths. So once again, Jacob finished behind me and so did Matt. So for the championship, that's great for me. So I think that's 14 points. So we're now on 34 and we needed to score 67 after the first race because Jacob finished behind us. And he finished 2 places behind us on that one. The new maths is I need to score 65 by the end of the day, and I've now scored 34. So we're getting there. There are still 60 points available through the remainder of the day. So let's go try and get them. On to the third heat then, and this was really my favourite of the day. Jacob and I agreed before the race to work together and try and move to the front, and starting directly behind him, it really made sense for me to work with him, so allow him to make the gaps and then simply follow him through. And as you can see, early doors, that's exactly what's happened. It really helped to start on the right-hand side of the grid for once, because we could just stick to the inside and make up some places around that long-term one. And now things have just strung out slightly. We're down at the hairpin. Jacob's still firmly got his eyes set on moving forward, so he's made the gap. I'm going to just follow him through once again. And it's nice that I knew I could really rely on his aggression to make space, which I could then simply move into. At the moment, I've had a really easy first lap. We've moved up from 11th to 5th position by the looks of it here, and I'm just in Jacob's slipstream. I know he's going to make a move on the kart in front. Despite that kart defending, Jacob goes down the inside. This is Jeffrey Johnson this time he's making a move on. I go through the open door, and now we're up to 4th place. So Jacob's come all the way from 9th up to 3rd. I've come from 11th to 4th in that 1 and a bit laps, and now it's time to try and get to the very front. Next target up ahead of Jacob is Tim Kansas, and leading the race currently is Russell Endine. So that's our focus now, and we've only got 2 in front, so that means we can take our time at this point, but I don't think either Jacob or myself really want to waste any time. We'd like to be at the front, pulling away, so I'm expecting him to go for a move into turn 1 on this lap. So here we go, he's in the slipstream, he's locked on. I'm trying to follow him through, but I actually can't really stick with him in the slipstream, so Jacob there with the double toe. He takes a look, Tim gives him the space, and once again I simply move into the open door. Absolutely no work for me yet so far in this race. I'm simply driving pretty much the racing line, and the seas keep parting in front of me, so really an ideal race. And what did I say? You can rely on Jacob's aggression to make the moves, and he already looked at Russell into the hairpin. He goes for a move down the inside into the double left. There's not quite enough space to easily get through, and actually that one was a little bit unwise because that's allowed me onto the back of Russell, and Jacob's now been shuffled down to 3rd place. And now, pretty unbelievably, I'm about to have to make my first real move of the race, despite having already gained 9 positions at this point. So I go for a move down the inside. It's actually relatively textbook. Russell gives me the room. I make it through quite easily, and I imagine at this point Jacob has followed me through. And rather than make you sit and watch a completely clear track for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to skip to the final 2 minutes of the race where Jacob begins to attack me. So I know it's coming, but I also don't want to lose too much time to the pack behind. So I don't fight Jacob, he goes straight down my inside into the hairpin. I consider an attack into the double left, but the positioning doesn't really work out for me here, so I just try to cut back and get a good exit. And now I do start to see Jacob is on the defensive. There's only really one lap to go here, so it's understandable that he's now decided this is the time to fight. We do still currently have a pretty decent gap to the karts chasing us down, and I'm going to push him along here. He goes defensive, but I'm not really interested in making that dive. He completely covers it off regardless, so no way I could have gone down his inside there. And really the next opportunity is down into the hairpin, exactly the same place he attacked me. But he's wise to that, he knows exactly where to place his kart. My only option is to try around the outside. That's not going to happen, so I try and position my kart to get a good exit to the double left. Jacob goes slightly more defensive than he needs to and actually runs out wide on the exit. And surprisingly for me at the time, I managed to get through. That wasn't a place I'd really managed to overtake anyone, certainly at the front end of the grid through the rest of the day. So Jacob was probably quite annoyed at that one, and now we are onto the final lap. So all I need to do at this point is white line it, stick to the inside, don't allow him through, and try not to let that exact same move I've just pulled get pulled on me when we get to the double left. So I stay firmly to the right hand side down the back straight. I don't want to open it up even a little bit to allow him through, because he will take any chance he can. I know it's extremely difficult for him to get around me at this point if I don't make any mistakes. I'm white lining it into the double left, but I do manage to come off the corner slightly quicker than he did, so no way through for him there. This is a tricky one. You don't really want to go tight to the inside of the final corner. If someone's got a nose up there, they're going to force their way through. But if you go too defensive, they might get a run on you down to the finish line. So you can see I'm looking back to just try and cover him off, make sure I'm running him wide. And that one's the first one I celebrate today, because I'm quite happy that we managed to get that one done.
That was a good race. I loved how far away we got from everyone, because I was like, I don't care when he starts to attack now, because we're far enough in front. This will be fun. So it's good.
That was such a stupid thing I did.
That was heat 3. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. That's helped again, obviously, championship maths-wise. Jacob, he finished close, but he finished behind. So that's another point I didn't need to get. So we've gone from needing 68 points down to 67 after the first race. So we need 10 more points in the final to seal the championship today. There's 40 points for a win. So long story short, we need to finish the final. I imagine we've qualified on the front row, and Jacob will be right up there too. So I'm looking forward to a close race, and ultimately I just need to finish. So let's see how we go. Oh!
I'm surprised you didn't flip.
I lost one place.
And just before we go to the GX UK Senior Final, since our class was the last race of the day, we got to watch Ronnie Townsend win the GX Junior Championship, Kai Turner win the GX Cadet Championship after a very strong year.
How do you feel being champion?
Well, that's nice. So we're going to do TKM in the next round because I've won the championship.
For those of you who have been watching all the videos, you'll know the reason that Kai's included in these videos. He was in the very first video of this GX UK series back at Stretton last year. I'll insert a clip of him doing a little dance right now. Congratulations, champ, and good luck in the TKM.
Yeah, thanks.
And Evan Meller take his debut cadet win after an incredible recovery drive where he spun around on the first lap and came back to take the victory.
Right, the final, I'm hoping this is the final race of the season where I have to worry about the points. Made a bit of a plan with Jacob to work together and go forward, but that doesn't take into account Russell Endine, who's starting directly behind me on this side of the grid. You can't really plan lap 1. You can have some ideas in your mind about what might happen, but you can't know what's definitely going to happen. Let's just take it as it comes.
On to the grand final then, and I'm starting from the best position, pole position on the right hand side of the grid. So really I've got the high ground going into turn 1, and although Jacob gets a little bit of a run around my outside, it's such a big advantage to stay tight that he can't maintain that position, and actually Russell Endine follows me through on the inside to take up P2. So I've quite often found myself in this exact same position in the final, leading but with a chasing pack able to close me down. My mission is simply to not let anyone through. Not to leave a silly gap on the inside that someone could stick a nose in, and at the moment you can see I've actually built a small gap. So this is very helpful. I can take the normal racing line and just let everyone behind me fight it out. I just need to push as hard as possible, and if and when they eventually get to my tail, then I'll think about the defending. But for the time being, my position and my championship are safe. Now, quite a lot happens in this race. It's actually a very, very close fight. But from my onboard video, you don't really see any of that. So shortly we're going to move to the onboard from Alex Vangeen, who's behind us, because he gets a much better view of the action unfolding. You can watch the entire race from his perspective, and in fact his entire race weekend, by searching for Alex Vangeen Racing. But just before we switch to that camera angle, you can see Jacob Sharrock making a move up the inside of Russell Endine, and that really began to give me quite a big gap. But even with a lead as big as this, in GX UK, that's not enough. Karts that work together can eventually drag back up to a lone kart trying their best out front. So let's now ride on board with Alex Vangeen and take in some of the action from that monumental fight going on behind me. But for me, out in the lead, the plan hadn't changed. I just needed to defend when necessary and try to pump in fast laps when I could. And whenever the pack behind got close, I stuck to the inside, defended like crazy, and maintained position. And although it felt like it would never come, finally we got to the last lap, and I was able to cross the line, taking maximum points from the final and win the championship.
Dad! Yes!
So that was the weekend. 3 relatively old guys on the podium. Real shame for Jacob. I don't know what the contact penalties were. I didn't see them obviously because I was looking in front and it all happened behind me. But great racing with Jacob all weekend as always. But congratulations to Alex Vangeen on his 3rd place. Does he know? He doesn't know.
What?
Someone's got
Jacob's got penalties.
No way.
Yeah, you're first. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well done, Alex.
His first podium in GX UK, and he's very happy. And I'm quite looking forward to the journey home. I'm going to have an extremely happy Alex sat next to me in the van, and it's going to be quite a late one. We've got a lot to pack up. The sun's setting. I'm going to go get on with that. But thank you guys for watching. Thanks for watching this season so far. There's still one more race in this championship, and although I've managed to wrap up the point standings today, there's loads more action at the final round, which is also going to be live streamed. So I'm looking forward to that. It's just 3 weeks after this race, and my kart's going to be looking very, very different for that one. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one. Love you, bye.
Why? Brad Philpot, looking very menacing.
I had a nightmare last night, by the way.
Philpot makes a mistake.
Hello. We are here at Llandow Park for round 6, the final round of the GX UK Championship. As you saw in the last video, we've already won the championship, but there's still a race to win here this weekend. And joining me are 2 guests. We've got our friend Kyle Power, who's a very experienced kart racer, and we've also got Glenn Freeman, who's the editor-in-chief of the race. As promised, my kart has been refreshed. You might have noticed some changes. If you follow me on social media, you've probably already seen these. But it's changed colour. That's really the main difference. It has a new Nassau panel. This black plastic thing here that's coloured in nice purple stickers, that's new. The rest of the kart's exactly the same except it's purple, but I think it looks a heck of a lot prettier. I hope you agree. I'm going to try and keep the side pods rubber free for most of this weekend. Kyle Power, you're using this kart, which we got from used OTK. Obviously you've done a bit of work since to get it up to GX UK spec. How has the used OTK kart been for you so far?
Superb. It's gone out. It's got a really lovely neutral balance. I think the major problem is the soft squishy bit holding the steering wheel. So I'm really impressed with the base setting. It feels just like a Rotax without a Rotax engine in it.
So what I haven't done done really is tell you about my own day. I had such a good day that I actually stopped testing around lunchtime because I just didn't want to do laps for the sake of it. So my kart is spot on, everything's good for tomorrow, and as we know from every GX UK race in the past, it's not about doing the fastest lap, it's about racing through the pack and getting to the front. And because points don't matter for me this weekend, I just need a good starting position for the final, and we're going to go try and win a trophy. Let's see what we can do. So my aims for today are to just try and finish as far up as possible in each race, that for the final I'm starting in the top 3. That's my lowball aims. My real aims are to win every race. But you're laughing, I'm being serious. I want the Purple Peril to get its deserved victories. I had a nightmare last night, by the way, I shouldn't probably say this, but that I had a massive crash and like the whole rear end of the kart snapped off. The way the grids are decided is you'll start in 3 different positions through 3 heats, and the number of those positions adds up to the same number for all drivers. So there's no timed qualifying, and that really puts a focus on getting through the pack rather than just setting fast lap times. Starting in 11th, we need to make up as many places as possible. The top 5 in each of those races would be ideal, but if we can get even further forward, if we can make it all the way to the front, that's what we're going to do. You're going to see some awesome footage today, courtesy of Karting Live TV, so thank you to those guys. And I'm just hoping that the kart comes back in one piece. So I hope you enjoy race 1, which is coming up right now.
GX Seniors, it's our largest grid of the weekend. 30 karts, we're on the pace lap. This, I think, is pure racing. We're going to see some proper racing here. We are going to be getting this thing underway. We've got the red lights flying. Dominic Hempton, Ethan Hall, Alex Vangeen and Charlie Furman on row 2, and we are going green. And we head down to turn 1, which is Degner, and it'll be all 31 karts that will make their way around. And this is where you can't get it wrong, because look at that, everybody there was in the lead, it seemed. Into Shoemaker.
And we've got a few off.
Yeah, we've got at least 3 off. So very easy to fall down the order.
Well, that was a bit rough. We got bundled down a bit there. We went up in the air at one point. It's all because the guys in front checked up. Well, that's just how it is. Let's see if we can go forward from here. Gosh. Sugar. That's annoying. That slowed us down. Because Tom Purchase is defending like crazy.
And as you'll see in the next short segment, I really do treat the rear of Tom Purchase like the hind legs of a donkey, partly because he doesn't have a plastic rear bumper. So in effect he has 2 sharp metal spikes poking out the back, which I don't want to push and risk getting my bumper stuck on. And you can see he's looking side to side quite frequently, because he's really trying to prevent me from coming through. But fortunately for me, number 86, Tom, is actually about to help me out here and make a bit of a mistake into the hairpin.
And there he goes. Problem solved.
But obviously my next problem was closing up to the back of the pack, and first in line to overtake is Tom Sully, a new driver to the series who managed to sneak through during that initial melee. So here into the penultimate corner I try and squeeze down the inside, and he leaves me just about enough room to get that move done. So next up I need to overtake Dom, number 87, and then we can close onto the main pack. So 1 lap later we are on the tail of Dom. We're going to make this move relatively straightforwardly into the hairpin, so nice simple move down the inside. Dom gives me room, but I make sure I go right over the inside curb there to try and give him maximum space at the apex. And then we're shortly into the next fight. This time it's a pack being led by my brother Paul, and then Alex Vangeen just behind looking to make a move on Paul, and George Massey in the white helmet directly in front of me. Now the further you climb up the pack, the harder these moves become, and George is no pushover. I've had a few fights with George this year. You will have seen in the last video at Clay Pigeon, I made a little bit of a rough move on him down the inside into the hairpin. So this time we want to make sure it's fair. I'm going to give him a push down the straight here just to make sure he stays on the tail of Alex, and it seems like that does prompt George to have a look up the inside. He doesn't quite go for it, but that then gives me the opportunity for a cutback on the exit, and because he gives me the space, I managed to stay down the right hand side.
And here comes Brad Philpot on the O-Plate, on the purple and black kart there, and just sat there down the inside. He's catching his teammate Vangeen. They're in the same awning and sharing.
And they won't. Well, all 3 of the. You've got Paul, Alex, and Brad all sharing an awning together. Right. I can't imagine any quarters given here, so it'll be interesting.
No, but you know what I did notice about these lads is the way that they race is very clean, because you can't afford to make mistakes. No. You've got to be precise. You've got to be clean.
And speaking of clean, Alex gives me a big old squeeze into the final corner there on the outside, so I try and cut back and get a run on him down the main straight.
Already looking left, looking right on the number 9 is Paul Handley, and around the outside, Bradley.
Oh, that's brave.
It's side by side. Look at pushing the cart with their backsides out of the seat, and that was purely down to Paul and Alex squabbling over real estate, and Brad Philpot. That's why he's won the championship. Just looking for that opportunity. He looks over his shoulder. They're not there, are they? As they come towards through the left-hander, and then the right-hander of Clinton's.
I just had a straightforward run to the line now, but it wasn't settled between Paul and Alex behind me.
And then I've got the Warnes hairpin, still defending the number 9, 99 I should say. And then through the left-hander of T73. So it's all,
we're on to the last
now
lap.
There, last lap board for the leader, Jacob Sharrock. As this battle rages on, it's not just about on track though, it's about the championship as well. It's Sharrock leading, Tom Angier second, Matthew Robertson third. Then we've got Philpot just ahead of these two, but these two squabbling. Alex Vangeen trying to find a way by. That was a bit of a challenge at home. And look at that, because they're defending and attacking one another, that's allowing George Massey back into the fray.
Just a few more corners for me, and that was a relatively solid result. P4 from P11 on the grid.
Okay, that was good. So, great win from Jacob. He was just aggressive at the right time at the start, and I was a little bit too cautious going into the first couple of corners when the carts in front checked up. So,
Paul Handley 5th, Alex Vangeen 6th, George Massey 7th.
Tom Sully was extremely aggressive. I expected him to be, coming from BPEC. So yeah, I definitely got knocked up in the air. So really have to work with the quick people and go forward in this series, but Paul's happy.
Okay, so that was race 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Loads of action. I didn't finish as high up as I would have liked to, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Still really, really good points towards the final, so that's a good start. I've got my best grid position of the day coming up next, so 4th place, directly behind George Massey. Let's see if we can go even further forward. Special mention to my brother Paul, who finished 5th in that last race, in his first race out of novice plate, so great job. And also Jacob Sharrock, awesome win. Massive progress from 13th on the grid, so really, really good. Also, thanks to Karting Live TV for this awesome footage that we've been using so far. It looks spectacular. Hope we have you guys back again. I'm going to be using some more of that footage in this next race. Hope you enjoy. Here we go.
So this should have been a relatively straightforward race, starting near the front, but little did I know what was about to unfold. Hold on tight, because there's some drama in this race, and you're about to watch me make two of my biggest mistakes of the entire season.
We are racing though, and the field of GX engine karts make their way through the Degner hairpin, and quite a gaggle. Look how close they are as they make their way through Shoemaker, and it's Philpot up to second already, trying to get a look. I think that's the 55 of George Massey, and down the inside has gone into second place, that orange and white cart there. I think that's I'll try and find I think that's the 33 of Masika, who did start on the pole position. Out of the right-hander at Barney's and on towards the Warnes hairpin and down the inside and into the lead, and Philpot's gone with him, or has he? Through the T73 hairpin. We'll get a handle on the race order, certainly the top 10 given time, as a 4-cart train cross the line. It's Jacob Sharrock from the number 25 is that orange and white car that we saw come through. George Massey in third. It's Philpot in second. Philpot third. Fourth is Musika, Purchase, Hemp, Kansas, Fuller, Ben White and Alex Vangeen rounding off the top 10. But already Jacob Sharrock moving away from Brad Philpot in that second spot. Philpot with him has got Sebastian Musika, as these two have already gotten past George Massey on the 55. So that's second, third and fourth, Philpot, Musika and Massey.
So with the start dealt with, I was now just in pursuit of Jacob, and I knew once I got on the tail of him, I was going to work with him and just push him forward to try and break away from the rest of the pack. This time spent behind him also allowed me the opportunity to see where I was stronger and where I might be able to make a move later in the race, but I wasn't going to make a move until we definitely had a big enough gap to the carts behind that we weren't at risk from being passed by them later in the race. And as it happened, that opportunity came with around 1 minute to go, where I dived up the inside of Jacob into the penultimate corner, and as far as I was concerned, I just had a couple of laps left to try and hang on to the lead, which should be relatively straightforward. That is, of course, unless I clip the barrier with my left rear wheel,
Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks.
and bend my axle, causing the cart to bounce up and down like a bucking bronco, and making it almost impossible to carry any speed through right-hand corners. I was terrified the chain was going to come off, or something else was going to break, and I kept looking down at my left rear wheel to try and judge just how bad the damage was. Unfortunately, I looked away from the track
Fiddlesticks.
as we went past the timing gantry, and I was pretty sure I'd seen the clock count down to 0 on the previous lap. So as far as I was concerned, we were now on the final lap, and I was just hanging on to try and get this bouncing cart to the finish without losing too many positions. I was really powerless to stop Jacob diving down my inside at the bottom hairpin, because I was much more concerned about not losing control of the cart, as these images don't remotely show how bouncy it was. But in my mind, things could have been a lot worse. At least I was on course for second place, and we were headed towards the finish line on what we thought was the final lap, and I was still about to take a podium with a very bent axle. And as frustrating as that silly mistake was, Jacob drove a great race and deserved the win. So we backed off, congratulated each other, had a little bit of a chat about my bent axle,
Fiddlesticks.
and then began to realise that the race hadn't actually finished yet. Somehow, both Jacob and me had come to the same conclusion that we were on the last lap, when in fact, we weren't. We hadn't passed a last lap board, and we hadn't passed a checkered flag. The combination of me looking away from the timing gantry at my axle as we passed the flag on the lap before, and Jacob celebrating as he crossed the line, simply made me think that the race was done. But when George Massey and Sebastian Musica flew past, I began to suspect there was a problem, but didn't really want to believe it. And to make matters worse, annoyingly, Jacob had realised just before I did that the race was still on.
Fiddlesticks.
And so I'd managed to throw away a win twice in the space of 2 laps.
What's going on?
Clipping the barrier when you're in a commanding position leading a race is a rookie error. Slowing down before you've definitely seen a checkered flag is also a rookie error.
Fiddlesticks.
Needless to say, we were both extremely confused, but all I can say is I'm pretty sure that was just our mistake, so we had to deal with it, and thankfully for both of us, our main rival had done exactly the same thing and lost effectively the same number of points for the final. Unfortunately for me, however, my self-inflicted damage was about to cause a really lengthy repair job, and I was worried I might not get the cart fixed in time for race 3.
I don't really have time to talk much about that last race because we're currently desperately trying to get my rear axle out, which I bent hitting a barrier like a moron. So going to try and fix that in time for Heat 3, otherwise we're going to be really low in the final. So I'm going to get on with this. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, heat number 3. That was a very, very frantic repair. You guys didn't see most of that. If I had a camera crew following me around, then I could have filmed all of the commotion that you just missed. We should have just kept going, and I should have definitely kept going. So that was a stupid rookie error. I was just lucky that he did the same rookie thing as me. So in this one, let's try again to get to the front. I haven't had a podium yet today. I think this is the first meeting of the season where I haven't scored a podium in the first 2 heats.
Spoiler alert, that trend was about to continue. In fact, I was about to have my worst race of the entire season.
Back to the live action with Paul Handley and Thomas Butler leading this field of GX UK seniors around for their 3rd heat. This is the biggest grid of karts we've got. 29 karts have taken the start, and across the line they go. And the GX UK seniors head towards the first turn. And let's see if they all make it out. It's a very crowded midfield, as ever. I'm falling in love with this class of karting. It might not be the fastest kart series out there.
Carnage, absolute carnage.
Phenomenal. Unbelievable stuff.
Absolute carnage.
Yeah, I can just imagine being out there. It's just phenomenal.
I think we might have lost places there. There really wasn't anywhere to go because the guys on the inside had a massive problem. Please don't defend now, Alex. Oh, we lost so much time. So much time to these guys. Oh, that didn't work. Tried it, didn't work.
They go.
It's Matthew Roberts, I think
It is Matthew Roberts leading. Paul Handley, Jacob Sharrock, Tom Angier, Thomas Butler, Ben White.
Jacob is gone. Oh, we're just stuck in this bottleneck of these guys who are a lot slower than us.
I think everything's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's nothing not happening. That's the thing you want. And okay, right. So they're now.
Oh, this is a nightmare. Alex, don't defend. We're losing so much time. This is a nightmare. We're going around like a second slower than we should be. Pull out, Alex, pull out. Yes. Go, 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 go. Oh my god, this is so annoying. Mate, come on. This was always the danger. This was always the danger. We are fully stuck here. So much pace and nowhere to go.
Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks.
Safe. Oh, even that didn't work. Oh my god, this is a nightmare. This can't go anywhere. Finally. We've wasted half the race. We're miles down. He's gonna defend. Don't defend, let's catch him. Don't defend, man. Why are you defending? Why are you happy with this position? Catch Vangeen. Stop defending. Just go. Oh man, he's fighting.
If the driver in front can be smooth and fast, then it's very, very hard to pass. There's the 46 of Tom Sully. Tries down the inside of Alex Vangeen, and Vangeen hangs on, and here comes Bradley Philpot up from the rear end of the grid. Philpot right on the tail of his teammate now. Both of them are challenging by Tom Sully. I'm not sure.
Oh, might look behind them. It's just ridiculous.
Well,
Why? Into a corner. Why would you push me straight on into a corner?
Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks.
Right.
And you'll be relieved to hear, after all that whinging, that was finally the end of the race.
Nightmare. Worst finish of the season. And the whole race, we're over half a second a lap off of the pace we could actually do. Just impossible to get through. That was tough. Not really happy with that one.
Heat 3, so 8th place. That is not what we were after. I just felt trapped in a bottleneck, difficult things happening at the wrong time, people defending very aggressively, really wanting to maintain their position, which they're allowed to do. Not really ever getting someone to work with me in a way that you need to close up to the next pack. So not a great day of results today. I don't know where I'm starting for the final. You're about to find out. Let's hope the final is a little bit more straightforward and a little bit more pure racing, because it's been scrappy so far, certainly from my side. The kart is in one piece. I've tried to clean off as much rubber as possible from this side pod, thanks Alex Vangeen. Let's see if we can get a podium in this final. It's going to be hard though. Got a task in front of me now.
We are going to move on to our GX UK Senior Championship finale. Brad Philpot as our champion-elect after a very successful season. No, he isn't. But race winner Jacob Sharrock is. Jacob took a race win at round 3, which was at Houghton Park, wasn't it? So, we've got Jacob that is very, very adept at being able to control the pace of a race and knows how to win a race. Alongside him is Matthew Roberts. Second row of the grid is Brad Philpot and Tom Angler. Third row is Tom Sully and George Massey. We've then got Simon Fuller and Paul Handley. Alex Vangeen and Thomas Butler are on row 5. Tim Kansas and Oscar Poyetti are on row 6. Row 7 is Sebastian Musica and Ethan Hall. And then we've got Kyle Power, Glenn Freeman, Thomas Purchase, Ben White, Alexander Horn, Daniel Patrick's the first of the novices.
Here they come.
As they come through.
Purple kart is Brad Philpot in third place, best known racer in this field. And not a great start from second. Immediately lost the momentum going around the corner, and there's real scufflage there. They're going round again, are they?
No. He was complaining about being hit.
All right, I thought
he was complaining about being hit there.
There was a lot of that going on.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. It's the number 46, Tom Sully, who finds himself bizarrely at the front of this field. He's wondering how he got there. Jacob Sharrock on the orange and white kart finds himself in second, and then Brad Philpot looking very menacing, very composed in the seat of that O-Plate kart. He's got the purple livery kart, and these three now breaking away. It's all about that. 10 minutes is a long time to sit there in the lead behind it, in front of this lot.
Yeah, I mean, they've made a nice little break, those three. It's possible they could cement this and just turn it into a battle between themselves. But even if you say this, the fourth place Tony Kart livery machine seems to be getting closer and closer and closer. Philpot, what's that about?
Yeah, look down at his engine there. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think he got away from the marshal.
All right. Okay. Tom Sully comes out of that corner, the Degner, and then by the time they get towards
Philpot's to get him as well. I think
Philpot's going to move down the inside. How many times have we seen that?
Perhaps there is a problem with the 46. I don't know, but he seems to be acknowledging information from a marshal. Has he got a wobbly something they want to talk about? Black and orange type environment. Don't know. But first two are away now. Philpot looking very relaxed, the purple and black.
Did you see Philpot nodding his head? That was to the people behind him saying, let's try and keep, make the break and keep on this. But however, we've got a train of, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've stopped counting there.
I think so.
7. Vangeen latching on the back in 7.
But these two are looking to break away again. Now I'm kind of wondering about this point. What is the tactics? If you don't think you can break away, but you're fast, is second or third the best place to be for the majority of the race?
That's a heavy question.
Sharrock actually has just put a few yards between them, but that will come back to nothing again in 2 corners' time. Yeah. But recovering from whatever the issue was, is Sully now in third.
What will happen is Philpot will have Sully come up behind him. Tom Angier will fall in line as well, and then the 2 karts, 3 karts, 4 karts will cut a hole through the air and will gain speed on Sharrock. All Sharrock can do is sit there and drive as fast and as smooth as he can, and it's all about smoothness in this one.
He's actually managed to break a little bit of a gap. I mean, and I mean a little bit of a gap.
Quarter of a second.
Well, I think it went up a bit, and interestingly, it's coming back down again. I think it might. I'm going to say he'd increase his lead. Let's see. With 0.24.
Let's see if he has 0.24. It's gone out to 0.44.
There we are.
So he's put another 2 tenths.
If he can do that every lap, then that's great. But I think it was the result of a little bit of kind of like perhaps not perfect driving by people behind him, and we have now a break of 4, so that's interesting. Because 4 have got away.
Because Philpot has not dropped off the back of Sharrock, has he?
No.
He dropped back. All right, he's dropped back 4 tenths, but now
he's closer again.
Now they're coming back at him in a train of 4 karts.
But our 7,
Sully, Angier are the other 2 drivers. Behind these 4, you've got Matthew Roberts, Simon Fuller, Oscar Prietti, Alex Vangeen has dropped down 1. 2.8. Ethan Hall and George Massey, that's your top 10. But Philpot now coming back towards Sharrock. There's an element of tyres coming in as well, Nick.
Yep.
So the tyres have come in on lap 3. I know there's a lot of corners here at Ella Park, but the tyres still, need to come up to temperature before you can maximise everything.
Now Philpot has moved towards Sharrock, but also he's moved away from Sully, and I sort of got the impression that Tom Angier there was getting a little bit concerned about this. And Angier, I think, is thinking about how, because they're now 2 groups of 2, and Angier needs to make it, if he's got the pace, he needs to make a move past Sully as quickly as possible. That's Angier's in the Tony Kart, the green, the white nose just behind that. Sully was bouncing up and down like a mad frog there to try and get some extra speed.
Yeah, Sully not happy with the way his kart's coming out of the corners there.
That's a big gap. That's a big gap in these two.
Really slowing him down, so he's not happy with something there. And if anything, he's going to leave himself vulnerable if he's not careful.
It's all about the top 2.
And
first and second, Ash.
Yeah, Philpot looks like he might be just biding his time. Remember, Philpot
no, he's not.
Championship.
They are working together.
I know they are. That's what. Hang on. What I'm saying is, Philpot is biding his time, building up a lead, so he's not challenged. But you know what Brad Philpot will want to do? He'll want to take the win.
Oh gosh, no.
He'll want to crown his championship
these two have
with a win.
worked out that they can pull away from the 3rd and 4th, so they can make it between the 2 of them, and they're both happy to do that.
Yeah. And look how comfortable Sharrock is. Sharrock knows he's got Philpot behind. They know they've raced all season these long, and now we've got a 3-card battle
for the third place.
4th, and 5th.
They're coming together. The 3rd place cart with that was Oscar. No, it wasn't. It was Matthew Roberts actually, because I can't get Oscar's surname right in my head.
Okay, so the start of the race has gone quite well. This is where we wanted to be. Quite happy here to be sitting behind Jacob. Just under 5 minutes to go. No stress, let's just keep going with it.
I don't know when all bets are off. I assume with a minute to go, 3 laps to go, all bets are off.
I usually call it the 2-minute bell, don't I, when they start getting ready. I mean, we've just clicked back by half distance here in this longer final, 10 minutes and 1 lap.
Yeah, the gap between the top 2 and the rest went out to 1.2 seconds.
Just kind of size him up, see where we're quicker. At the moment, I think it's into this next corner.
Still some baffling to do that, whereas I do think the Philpot battle is going to, as you say, not explode till 2 laps to go. They'll prove us wrong now and do it next corner.
Yeah, Brad will have a go with it. Then Sharrock will come back on him.
My feeling is it's going to be a couple of corners as these 2.
Yeah, I think these 3. I think Matthew Roberts feels like he has a bit of pace, but he's being held up. But that's the way you know what? You constantly feel like that in this class of racing. 10 seconds away from the 2-minute bell. It's not an actual bell, it's just a saying that I have. Because that's when everybody thinks, right, now I've got to make me move. I've sat here for 8 minutes. There it is. Nick, thanks for that. It was absolutely awful. That's not really a gap, that is it? It's half a kart's length, which is nothing. However, it's something in this GX UK class for sure. Into the final.
Think about it. He's gone for it. Wow, that was an interesting move to go, but you're right. 41 seconds to go, but Sharrock's not given up yet. Now, can Sharrock come back? Philpot's waited a while to do that. How much intrinsic speed does he have? Sharrock immediately gets straight back in. There's no one there, mate. You are fine. It's just you two to fight. There's a 2-second lap. Now you can push as much as you like. You can waste time fighting each other. Right on his tail. Can Sharrock get Philpot back?
That is a big question, isn't it? And they've got this lap and one more to do it. Philpot did play the waiting game. The high-speed game of chess was actually what we were watching. And Sharrock is not allowing Philpot to escape him. Is he playing a waiting game? Is he going to make his move? It's yellow flags at this point on the track, so he can't make the move here.
Yeah, someone else has gone off coming down this short shoot here.
Is he going to be... Yeah, they clear it now. We're into green. Sharrock down the inside, side by side through the hairpin. They're going to have to sort themselves out through Rossi. Oh, it's through the... Sorry, it's a corner before that.
Yeah, it's the last lap.
Last lap board now for Philpot. He's shown his cards now, hasn't he, Sharrock? And Philpot now only has to defend for 1 lap.
No, yeah, but it's gone too wide.
Yeah, side by side.
Philpot makes a mistake.
He's going to have the corner, isn't he?
He's done it. Brilliant move there by Sharrock. Philpot made a mistake, made too wide. Now he's got a bit pushy, and they're on each other's tail. But now there's only one place he'll need to defend, and that's coming. No, Philpot's got around the inside. They're going to go 2 by 2 here. We know 2 carts can't get around the next corner.
Oh,
Sharrock's going to have to back out. He's not going to back out.
He's not going to back out. They're across the curb. and into Barney's for the final time. Sharrock
has he got the drive?
The bravest
he's going to have to go inside. He's got the inner line.
He's got the inside line. He forces Philpot to the outside. It's going to be a quicker line for Sharrock, who comes through the T73 corner now, and then it's the curve onto the checkered flag, and Jacob Sharrock. That is a well fought and intelligent race from both of those drivers.
Great race.
Jacob Sharrock and Brad Philpot.
I think we have a
awesome.
I think we have a contender
from these two. Yeah, we absolutely have. I knew it was going to be.
That was it. Got round nicely there.
Yeah.
That was a mega race. What a race! Best final lap of the season. Okay, we didn't win it, but it's about being in the fight. Jacob was awesome. That was perfect. I thought I might have had him through the S's, but he was brave enough to keep his foot in through here. Great job. Really, really great job. What a drive. All day as well by Jacob. Excellent drive by him all day. Just awesome. Impressive, and I'm happy with that. You know, I'm happy with my final, happy with my season. That was great fun. Oh, what a race. I'm so glad you left the room though. Yeah, I was always going to leave the room. I was always going to leave the room. You really deserved today. You smashed every race. You were rapid. You should have won every race today. So.
I don't know how much that actually meant, because you didn't plug me into turn one. You got loaded.
Yeah, because I was on the way.
On the way.
We were lucky we didn't get turned around at turn one, because I was pushed from behind. That was such a good race.
We were side by side going into the.
And finally I had a good race. So as you saw, that was really good fun. Super happy for Jacob. He deserved today. He could have won all the races today. Our kart was mega though. Purple, Peril, whatever we're going to call it. If you think of a better name, please tell me. That was brilliant. We'll do a quick catch up with our guests and Paul, see how they all got on. But from me, really happy that we got a decent final. At least we got one podium in the day, and it was a good one. Might have even won some money, thanks Butler's Customs. And also thanks to Used OTK, who provided this blue chassis, which has been in the wars today. These bits needed changing. The rest of it's mainly fine, but yeah, they're the wrong shape, all those things. Wheels aren't very good when they're like that. So, Kyle, how did your final go?
Amazing. I think that was a P15 to a P9 in the end, because I think someone got disqualified. So top 10 was the aim of the game, especially with a DNF in Heat 2. I'm really super happy about that. So yeah, P10, I think is mission not make a fool out of myself and not hurt too many people or carts accomplished, apart from my little detritus pile there.
Thanks, Carl. Right, hopefully we'll get you back for a race next year.
Awesome, cheers.
Go ahead. Sorry I haven't managed to catch up with you much today. How was your final?
Really good. Was coming through the pack a bit, was behind Kyle and Paul. We were running together in a little train, had a couple of looks at Kyle. Then there was a stack up coming out of turn one, and we all sort of nudged each other. But I'd rather have a mega race like I had and end up spinning out than have driven around in 20th all day and not seen anyone. So yeah, it's absolutely mega.
You guys have both been awesome. Thank you very much.
For having us.
I hope you come back for a round next year. And finally, Paul, how was your final?
I came 10th. It was a bit hairy. I got caught up in a bunch of stuff at the start. There's some marks on it. This destroyed my nice go-kart. Yeah, because of that, I went back to, I think, 14th, so I managed to come back to 10th, so I'm really happy.
Good job, dude.
Thanks, mate.
And finally, our kart is basically in one piece too, so happy with that. Ready for the O-Plate in 3 weeks' time, which we're going to try and get to. So we've got to pack up. I'll try and show some shots of the trophies, but guys, thanks so much for watching this season. Again, thanks to Used OTK. Thanks to JB Kart Racing for providing these awesome little 3D printed rubberized things which make the kart look really shiny and cool, and thanks to GXT for providing an absolute rocket of an engine for the second half of this season. Right, pack up, let's go.
Hello, that was good. Finally, I beat you. You beat me the last 3 races. I just needed it.
I tried my hardest.
I know.
And you?
I did a thing.
Inherited P3.
I did.
Why was that?
Tom? Care to explain?
I'm a cheat, that's why.
Tom was
deliberately cheating.
Tom was about a bag of
and they caught him.
underweight, unfortunately.
Whoa, no tyre temperature. A lot of overtaking to do if we want to defend this O-Plate.
Fiddlesticks.
We've lost a lot of places, that's gone very wrong.
Welcome to Dunkeswell for the GX UK O-Plate. So what is an O-Plate? It's an open invitation non-championship round where the winner gets to run the 0 or O as their number for the next season of karting. And since that's what I ran all this year, I kind of like the opportunity to run it again. This is a circuit I've never visited before and it's pretty state of the art. We've actually got Formula 1 grade asphalt with a very, very tight knit and smooth surface with nice freshly painted curbs, although they're a little bit too big to use in a lot of instances. A gorgeous clubhouse and lots of corner types for us to have some fantastic racing on today. Now, unlike some of the more recent rounds you'll have seen on my channel, most of the usual suspects from the front of the grid aren't racing this weekend, but replacing them are a whole host of extremely fast drivers with huge karting backgrounds, probably most notable of which is Anwar Barul Smith. Anwar has won in every category he's raced in, taking wins in series around the world, and in particular in very high-level rental kart series like Club 100. And also from Club 100 is the very well-known Sam Dimolo, or Wolmid on YouTube. Go and check out his channel. Both of these guys were extremely fast in testing yesterday. And if that wasn't enough, Tom Sully, who finished third on the road at the last round of the championship, is also here and looking rapid. And this is what we've got to contend with. A pretty high-speed circuit with very little runoff in some areas just like this, and a grid full of competitors that only have one thing in mind, the same as me, to win the 2024 GX UK O-Plate. Yesterday we had several sessions of practice and they went pretty well. I'm on the pace, certainly at the very sharp end of the grid, and it's going to be really important to get past people cleanly today in the races and get to the front of the grid to secure a good position for the final. But also yesterday I got to do something I've wanted to do for years, and that is to drive a gearbox kart. Now this circuit with barriers as close as you can see here probably wasn't the ideal one for me to have my first try, but thanks to the very kind Kieran Shanks, I had the opportunity to drive a 125 gearbox kart, a KZ, around this very circuit, and I'll show you a short clip of how that went right now.
Enjoy that.
Whew. Yeah,
Really had some fun.
It felt like a warm-up. I need to go again. Now I'm getting a bit braver because by far the thing that holds you back the most is self-preservation. You're doing like 90 miles an hour and there's just a barrier right there.
It didn't look like you weren't giving it.
Kieran, thank you so much, man.
Very welcome, mate.
That was very, very kind of you.
These tyres are bold. I put you on my worst set of tyres.
So with the sun rising and the fog now lifting, it's nearly time for Heat 1. We have nice fresh tyres for today, still wrapped in their little plastics, but they're going to come off soon. So it's going to be the first time I've driven one of these karts on brand new tyres since March at the beginning of the year.
Are you on YouTube today?
I am on YouTube. You're on camera right now.
Am I?
Right here.
Oh, good luck today, mate.
Thanks, man. Good to have the officials on side.
I literally watched the video last night of you and Cameron Dash.
I keep asking him to come and do this. He keeps saying he's in America the whole time, so. I'm not race rusty here. I'm entirely raceless here. I've never raced at this venue, so I'm going to be learning the best positioning through this race.
So here we are then, race 1 of the day, Heat 1. We leave the pits on completely brand new tyres and have that one out lap to scrub them in. And really, I should just stay out front here. I should be able to just dictate the pace, keep it nice and clean as I bring the tyres up to temperature. I was quite happy with my pace in testing, so there's no reason I shouldn't be able to win this one. And being my best start of the day, I do really need to bank the maximum amount of points from this one in order to secure a good final spot. So after a couple of laps, it's Wolmid, it's Sam Dimolo on my tail. He's made his way through the pack, overtaken a couple of karts, and he's obviously closing in on me. As we all know, the slipstream effect in GX UK is huge, so it is very difficult to ever pull away at the front, but if I can maintain this position, I'll be happy. And at this point, I just want to give a shout out to Kai and Sammy, a couple of junior drivers who very kindly filmed all the off-board shots you're going to see in this video today. So anytime we cut to a trackside camera, that's Kai and Sammy. Thanks, guys. At this stage, I'm just trying to maintain my position. I'm also trying to learn how fast I can push on these brand new tyres. And actually, quite unexpectedly, there was a bit less grip than I thought. Through that bus stop chicane, I was always losing a little bit of time, and obviously with Walmid up behind me, that gave him the opportunity to see where I was fast, where I wasn't quite so fast, and at this stage he's closed in on my tail. You can see him there looking around my outside, and you can also see there some of that oversteer I was battling with through the day. So after another lap or so, I get a terrible exit to the bus stop chicane, and that gives Walmid a little bit of a run on me. Down my inside he comes, and I'm going to try and tuck him behind him. Unfortunately for me, he's got James Reese right up behind him, but I managed to slot in, and now I'm going to try and tag along onto the back of Walmid here, Sam Dimolo, and now all I'm thinking about is us trying to pull away at the front. I want to just push him forward so we get away from the carts behind, because as we know, this is normally a perfect strategy in GX UK. It's much better to just be fighting one cart than fighting multiple quick drivers, and therefore, worst case scenario, if you get a second place finish, that's a lot better than getting a fourth or a fifth place finish. Now, these races aren't particularly long, just 7 minutes plus 1 lap, so there's not really much time to build a huge gap ahead of everyone else, but at this stage I'm quite comfortable just sitting here behind Sam. The slipstream's really helping me stick close to him, and all I need to do is get clean exits, don't get too much oversteer through the corners like this, through the bus stop chicane, and you can see it's pretty effortless just to tag along on his rear. And from this outside shot, you can already see the effect this is having. Working together, working with another cart, really does give you the opportunity to break away from the rest of the pack. Now, going into this first chicane here, I noticed Sam was always going slightly wider than me, although whilst I'm following him, he does go a little bit narrower, just warding me off and discouraging me from taking a look up his inside.
Right, so that's Walmid up ahead. We're going to work with him like we normally do with Jacob. As you've already seen, much easier to stick with someone in a tow, in a slipstream. You notice he's doing this interesting line here, look, where he's actually stopped doing it on this lap. He's been going up on that curve.
This really was the most straightforward of all my races on this day, and all I'm thinking at this point is how much time there is left in the race and when I'm going to make my move.
He's let go of the steering wheel. Remember, we're not allowed to take our hands off the wheel in this series. 2 minutes to go. Go slower into here so we don't lose the rear. He lost the rear more that time, a little bit like indoor kart driving there. And now we're back with it. Where are we going to look? Into the next one. No gap that time. Let's try and stick with him. Oh, too wide there. We're going to have to do it at turn 1. Have to close back in.
At this stage, I'm obviously going to go through at any opportunity, so I'm really looking for that now, and an opportunity is about to present itself on this lap.
Is he going to go defensive? Too late, because we're there.
And provided I didn't leave the door open anywhere silly, that was race 1 done and dusted, and I could bring the kart home in P1 for heat 1.
All about the run to the line. I think we got it. Yeah, so, I think a good race. We made the move at the right time. I was surprised he didn't defend on that lap because it seems like quite straightforward to keep people behind. You saw he had a good run to the line, but not enough to quite get to the line in front. So unless the transponders are in the wrong place, I think we got that one. Well done, Dave. Good job.
Hey everyone, so that was race 1, heat number 1. We're back in the garage now, just doing some work on the kart. We always obviously strip down the rear ends and re-lube the chain, re-lube the bearings. We actually clean our bearings in between runs as well. The race went pretty well, I'd say. I did lose the lead in the middle. That was entirely my fault. Just was trying to get used to these new tyres. And obviously when you're out front, you don't really have a reference point of how much time you're losing in different places. So I definitely was losing a bit to oversteer. We've changed something on the kart now, so I can tell you guys, because none of my competitors are going to see this during the event. I've just gone in a little bit on the rear, just narrowed up the rear. I've taken a spacer out actually in order to just give me a little bit more peak rear grip. Hopefully that's going to try and avoid some of those slightly slidey oversteer moments that we had in that race. A nice little race there with Walmid, and I look forward to a few more of those through the rest of the day. I imagine he will be a little bit more defensive going forward. So I will see you in race 2. And before I go, I'm wearing a Use More Curb hat. So far this weekend I haven't been using more curb, really, because there's quite big curbs here. But if you'd like any of that merch, just click the link in the description below and grab yourself some Use More Curb merch. It's my motto. It's what normally gets you more time at most race circuits. Anyway, that's enough from me. Over to race 2. Let's go.
Hey everyone, if you've watched this far, please consider liking and subscribing. Like the very nice young man that just came over and helped me lift my cart down. I didn't catch your name, so I'm sorry I can't give you a proper shout out, but thank you for that. You just took my trolley off. Please pop a comment if that was you below this video. So this time we're going to be starting in P9. Much more tricky situation. Obviously pole position, you can choose your speed, but from here this is going to be a little bit tougher. So karts in front of us include Alex Vangeen, Steve Gross, James Purchase and James Cannon. These guys are going to be tough to get past because I've got a feeling this row are going to be in their own private battle and I'm going to try and get past them. So on the left side we've got Anwar, who's obviously featuring today. He might get to the front pretty easily, and then we've got Sully and Walmid over here right behind me. So this is going to be pretty tough. We've got 7 minutes plus 1 lap to do that. Let's go. My low ball aim here is a top 5. Let's see if we can get our way up to the top 5. Best of luck. Thanks dudes.
I was worried about this right-hand row. There are a couple of karts in front that I'd normally consider myself to have quite a bit more pace on, but everyone really broke up at the first corner and the rows were not maintained at all, so it didn't really turn into a problem. Anwar got a great start, managed to get through, and then I just managed to slip down the inside here of Tom Butler. And my plan was just to tag onto the back of Anwar at this stage.
Okay, good start. Let's follow Anwar.
And for the next few corners, that plan worked pretty well. Just picking up a toe from Anwar. He's opening the gaps in the traffic in front. I'm just going to slot into them. Have to go round the outside here of James Purchase. But aside from that, this is all pretty straightforward. And we've both got plenty of time to make our way right to the front of the grid.
Taking the wall mid-line there. Now let's work with Anwar to get to the front. Okay, let's work with Walmid to get to the front. And let's work with Anwar to get to the front. And let's work with Walmid to get to the front. We're all stuck behind Steve Gross here. This is fun. We've got Tom Butler right behind us. We're all being held up. Let's see what these guys do. Oh no! Now I'm trapped. Now I'm trapped. Oh no, that's gone badly for me. That's gone badly for me. Gosh, Steve's doing well. I've lost the train now. We're really stuck here. We have to dive bomb. Okay, well at least we got past Steve, but we've now got a bit of work to do. This is going to be about how quickly Walmid and Anwar get past the next cars. Because we've got some pace here we haven't been able to use so far. Okay, let's see if we can make some time up through here. The rear's still a little bit oversteery. Next up, Simon Fuller. I think we've got something rubbing. I think that contact we had from Walmid and from Tom Butler has knocked the axle slightly. So that's a shame. I should have gone for Anwar when I could. I thought I'd be able to work with him, but then he took too long to get past Steve. Put a yellow flag here. Not that long left. Can Alex defend? Kart 71. Oh, Alex has left the door open for Anwar. Alex has left the door open for Walmid as well. But he's on the inside there, so hopefully he can hold him up a bit. Thank you, Simon. Good man. Let's keep going. And Walmid's past Alex. That's a shame. They took longer to get past Steve than they did past Alex there. Let's hope it's the same case for us. Although Alex does tend to fight me pretty hard. Still a bit of a gap here. Alex is on pole and he's not going to want to lose another place. We've still got 2 laps to go. He knows I'm coming, which is a bit of a shame. See if we can get him into turn 1. Not this lap. Should have 1 more lap to go, hopefully.
Oh bother, that's rather annoying that Alex is defending.
We might still have 1 lap left, last lap. Oh, I'm going to have traffic. Let's see how much Anwar defends. I'm a little bit far back actually.
And unfortunately in this race it did prove too much. The trio in front of me were just that little bit too far ahead.
Just thought I'd try that when it didn't matter. Didn't really work, it was slower. I think that's me and Anwar equal on points at the moment. Anwar's had a 4th and a win. I've had a win and a 4th. He'll be down to who's got the fastest lap now. So it's through from 9th to 4th. Pretty cleanly. Only mistake there was probably not going for Anwar. We could have done early on, but I just thought I'd be able to follow him through. And because he took a little bit longer to overtake Steve Gross than I expected, that gave Walmid the chance to capitalise, get up behind us, and obviously that then dictated it from there. Happy that I did manage to get past Alex at the first opportunity. Got a good run on the exit of turn 1. And that really is the story of Heat 2. We're still in this thing. We're still in the fight for the O-Plate. I think I've got the pace. I don't think we're slow. So thanks to GXT engines, let's get scrutineered and see how we do.
So there we go, that was Heat 2. Not as good a result, but from P9 I'm pretty happy with that. I think I wasted an opportunity to go forward early on when we were in this train behind Steve Gross. So 4th is fine. We've got a much bigger task ahead of us in this one though, because we're starting back around 15th or 16th. So a lot more karts to come through and to try and get through cleanly. And our main rival, certainly Anwar, is starting on the front row. So this is his good start. So I'm expecting it's going to be Anwar on pole position. But if we can start somewhere in the top 3 or 4 for the final, then we're in the hunt. And all those guys are sensible and know how to race, so that's what we're going to try and do next. Here comes race 3. Enjoy.
We're starting as far back as we get on this one. Lots of people around us who are going to be tricky to overtake. James here is going to be hard. It's going to be really, really difficult to make progress here. I'll do my best. We've got some pace, but we've also got fast drivers around. Alex starting next to us as well. Let's see what we can do. So mission, as always, just make progress. And we need to make quite significant progress here because we're pretty far down.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, Heat 3. This one was always going to be the toughest. I was coming from quite a long way back here, so starting in 15th, really crucial to make as much ground as possible. And you just have no idea how the race is going to unfold in front of you. I'm up behind newcomer to the series, James Reese. He's been fast and pretty aggressive all day, and you can see there he's made good progress. I get a little bit swamped here trying to avoid any contact from the karts in front, and then I follow Alex Vangeen down the inside, and we manage to gain a couple of places back through the first chicane. But it really is a bit of a free-for-all at this stage. There's karts everywhere, the field just shaking itself out, and we need to try and get into position and make some moves now, try and get ahead of some of these karts. I've got my sights set on going around the outside of Alex, so I block him off and go down the inside into this long left-hander, and we make another extra couple of places there too, so we are finally making some forward progress after a very tricky first few corners. Now we're up behind series organiser James Purchase. I do have a think about going down his inside there, but it would have been a little bit of a lunge. But because he's just got a little bit stuck behind kart 42 there of Simon Fuller, that's also slowed me down a little bit too. I back off slightly into the bus stop chicane to try and get a good run on him on the exit, and I'm thinking which way to go. Can we get down the inside? But he, at the last moment here, goes for the inside, so that really blocks off that path for me. It's going to have to be somewhere different. So one of my favourite overtaking positions on this entire track today has been down the inside into this chicane. People tend to go quite wide, so I wanted to go down James's inside there. I couldn't because he defended, and then he went deep in the middle. But that allows me to get a cut back on the exit, and finally we can drag past James, because even though he goes half defensive, he doesn't fully cover the inside, and I was always going to take that extra little bit of space, and we make a move fully under control. And I then spend the next lap or so closing up to Simon, who's just overtaken Samantha Topless there, and I go past her too. I want to latch onto the back of Simon here and hopefully try and get him as early as possible. Yellow flags though in this section, so it's not going to be through here, and this is just going to be a case of trying to tag onto his rear, pick up that slipstream, and hopefully get him in one of the next couple of corners. It does look like there's a couple of other karts not too far ahead as well, so hopefully we can make some more forward progress and I get a better exit than Simon out of that bust-up chicane. And that's going to give me a run down the inside, especially when he goes left to try and go around Tom Butler, and I can then slot down on the right-hand side. So the next target now is Tom Butler, and I don't have any idea what position we're in at this point. It turns out we're currently running in 8th position, so I need to get ahead of Tom there to try and get 7th, and he's about to really just allow us through down the inside. He doesn't want to waste any time fighting me and then potentially lose out to the karts behind him. So nice easy pass there on Tom, but we've got an absolutely enormous gap to the next pack. And first in line when we do eventually reach the pack is my brother Paul Handley, and I'm going to try and help him get past Tom Sully. I'm going to give him a little push down the straight here, try and give him a bit of a helping hand and hope that I can then follow him into the gap. But it's a little bit too little too late. He doesn't really have time to get down the inside, and even worse than that, I actually lose some time running a little bit wide in turn 1.
Fiddlesticks.
So now I really do need to get past Paul ASAP because I also want to get onto the back of Tom Sully ahead of him. But despite only having run half a season in GX UK, Paul is not a pushover. He's actually really on the pace at this stage, and it's quite difficult not only to catch up to him, but also to make a move. So I need to be quite decisive. I get a bit of a run on the exit of this hairpin, and just by staying to the left-hand side as he peels off to the racing line, I do finally get my opportunity. And it's now on to Tom Sully. So a little bit later on, I've got a slipstream behind Tom, and I get to make that move that I really enjoy at this circuit, up the inside into the first chicane. And now we're finally up to 5th place. But the karts in front, once again, are quite far ahead. We've got a huge amount of ground to make up here, and with no slipstream, that's going to be pretty tricky to do.
Fiddlesticks.
I didn't really have time to talk in that one, but we got the pace here. We managed to catch the leading group starting in 16th, so I'm pretty happy with that. Amwar's going to be on pole, Walmid's going to be 2nd, but I think that might put me 3rd, which is exactly where I want to be on the grid. Because in 3rd, we're right behind Amwar pushing him. I absolutely ruined that final chicane, what a moron. I'm trying to deliberately, not overdrive, but just test absolute limits and see what was possible, because I might need that extra speed off the last corner in the final. But let's see how this goes. What have your results been today?
I've had a 2nd and a 4th, and I'm not sure where I was in first place because I had contact and ended up going back to field.
That was heat 3. I think that was pretty good damage limitation. To be honest, from 15th on the grid, I wasn't expecting a lot, but as I said at the beginning, I was hoping for a top 5, and that's what we got just about at the end, even though I nearly threw it away in the final corner. Our karts are out here. You can see them just warming up in the sunshine, just trying to get some kind of heat in those tyres. The day's gone a little bit cold now, and we've just got the final remaining. I think I'm starting 3rd, but you're about to find out if my maths was good or not when you see me on the grid, and that's really the position I wanted to be in. If I couldn't get 1st, and it became pretty clear after the first couple of heats, 1st was going to be a stretch with Amwar almost certain to win that 3rd heat. So 3rd place, starting on the inside and able to push Amwar along, is kind of what I was hoping for. So let's see how the final goes. We've got the pace, got the fastest lap in the 2nd and the 3rd heat there, and obviously, as you know, in GX UK, it's not about being fast, it's about working with the guys that you're racing and trying to move forward. If you've enjoyed the video so far, guys, please consider liking and subscribing, because next up it's the final, and I think it's going to be a good one. Wish me luck, here we go.
That's a lovely sunset coming in there. Try and get some temperature in these tyres. So let's see, will Amwar play ball? It's the final race of GX UK 2024. It's non-championship, it's the O-Plate. The only thing at stake here is the O-Plate itself. It's the win, that's what this is about. And that's what everyone here in the top 6 wants. Let's see how it shakes out. Here we go, wish me luck. Oh, he went early. He went really early, and we've lost places. We've actually lost another place on the inside here, but we want to be on the outside. Whoa, no tyre temperature. We've lost a lot of places. That's gone very wrong. Wow, that went badly wrong. How did that happen? Just no tyre temperature. Nothing at all. Whoa.
Fiddlesticks.
Okay, wow, that did not go to plan. Everybody wide at turn 1. Amwar's kart just launched off the line. And whoa, we might have a puncture. We might have a puncture. Let's just see. Is it cold tires or is it a puncture? Absolutely no grip on that first lap. Let's see whether we can draw back in. There's a lot of overtaking to do if we want to defend this O-Plate. And a lot of ground to make up. Wow, that did not go to plan. So we lost many places. I made a big error there not defending the inside, but normally I've got a lot more straight line than that. Our main issue here is we've got to get past 3 karts and then close down the leaders. Let's see what happens. Okay, we don't have a puncture, we just had extremely cold rear tyres. It's the coldest part of the day, and obviously the karts have been sitting for a couple of hours now. Okay, good news, the top 3 are going to have to fight. So, although they might work together, at some point they're going to have to fight. And we've got a lot more pace than the 3 in front of us. So let's see what we can do here. See if we can catch them, pass them, move on. There's 8 minutes to go. We know we've got a better engine than James here. And now it's a 6 kart train, maybe 7 with me. We're going to need to dispatch James quickly, because he is losing touch. Seven minutes, let's go. We need to tag onto the total of 85. Going to need to get past Sully very, very quickly. One more. Amwell's going for a move up ahead. Okay, looks like the leader's broken away. Will Amwell work together with Wolmid to catch him? Let's see. We need to get Sully. 4 minutes. We're over halfway through. Oh, we're through on Sully, let's go. We need them to fight, 3 minutes. Come on, little purple peril, let's go get him. We need them to fight for a few corners. If they wait until the last lap, we won't have time. We're trying to limit the oversteer on leaning well out to the sides. We've pulled away from the little pack behind us. They know we got the fastest lap in the last 2 races. They know if they start fighting, they'll lose half a second a lap, or more. They're starting to fight. 2 minutes, 3 laps to go. Amwell takes the lead. We need a bit more fighting, guys. It's status quo on this lap. We're not quite there. It's so frustrating. That first corner really took away our chances to be in that fight for the top 3. We're closing, but it's just so slow. These 3 all pretty much newcomers. Only Kart 85 has been in GX UK before. The top three have had an amazing race, an amazing day. But they know I'm too far back to do anything. They know they have permission to fight. And now they will, and we're going to get the front row seat. Oh, there's still 2 more laps. There are still 2 more laps to go. And we're ever so slightly closer. There's a yellow flag here, and they're fighting more. We're a few meters closer, but 1 more lap after this. It's green now. We're getting closer, and he knows I'm closing. There's going to be 1 more lap this time round. And it's going to be the most defensive lap. We're going to be on the tail of these guys on this lap. Last lap, there we go. What can we do? Can we snatch a podium? There's not many overtaking places left, but we're in the fight. Oh, nicely done. We had to try. We gave it a blooming good go. Well done, Anwar. Congratulations. Congratulations to the top 3. Awesome race. We threw away a podium for a chance of a win. Oh, it was good fun. That was good fun. Anwar came here with purpose and he delivered. The GX UK 2025 is going to be an amazing series. If you haven't already checked it out, if you're interested in owner-driver karting, if you don't have the biggest budget in the world, check out accesskarting.co.uk. Check out the Facebook group. Check out the rest of my videos. Thank you all for following me along this year. It's been an absolute blast, including that race. And you don't have to win every single round for it to be enjoyable, because that was one of the most fun races I've had this season. Sometimes you make a little bit of a decision, and that decision was to have a chance at fighting Anwar into the final couple of corners. It didn't come through, but I'm glad I tried. Let's go see everyone in the scrutineering bay. Whew. O-Plate champion.
How you doing? Right, it was a good race. I really enjoyed it. But I didn't enjoy absolutely potatoing myself at turn 1 and driving off the track almost, but it was good. Yeah, I managed to I just had to think about what I was doing and fight back slowly and get back to the front. Anwar!
That is the end of the O-Plate. Anwar is the champion. Congrats to him. Very deserved. Drove really, really well all day. That's it from me from GX UK in 2024. But it's not the end of the videos. You're going to see a bit of behind the scenes about how we paint the karts, how we get the karts jigged. And I tell you what, my chassis is going to need jigging after this weekend because we use some of those curbs. So thank you guys all for following along this season. Thanks for watching, and I hope you join me next season. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you like the Use More Curb merch, check that out in the links below. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks very much. Let's see if we can beat him next year.